And with the click of a button, what is going on, everybody? It is Toys Day. How are you? I'm going to catch the first little couple here. B's going to get to the next little couple. Dr. Strawberry is Daniel Anto. What is going on? Pockets also, what's going on? Von Fake Name Suki. Dr. Strawberry is back. Another comment there. Mucho love, homies. Lynn's the Rap Boy. What is going on, man? Over in the Australia. Are you about 15 hours ahead? And Bootleg Toyko. And from there, I hand over to you, B, man, because otherwise we know I would end up talking all night non-stop.
Oh man. You know what, dude? I don't even have the chat up. What am I doing, dude?
Well,
Were we
let
just
me
talking
be a
about
lesson for
that?
all of you guys at home. Hit that live chat if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that little thumb with the little thing there, and you'll be all set and ready to go. And of course, worst villain ever actually know is the secret. Like Pocket Salsa has said, if you say you're going to bed, you basically win on the wheel. So good on him for remembering that shit there. What up? Nin Studio Sweaty, that looks cozy, dog. Uncle Spank. I don't think I'll ever be able to say your name without doing that, my friend. I'm so sorry, man.
There we
Oh,
go.
Florian, what up? Jazz Wizzy, the old Jazz Wiz, what up? Zymutko, hello, weirdos. Hello. Wait, no, I've got a good one for this one. Hello,
Mm,
weirdos. There we go. That's how Zymut's that one.
that was weird. That fit in with the whole weird thing. That's for sure.
Nobody else is gonna understand this, but for those of you who I've talked to in the private chat, man, my chair was so squeaky, I freaking took it all apart the other day. I wiped that bitch down because I couldn't get it. And then now check this out, man. Watch this spin. You do whatever you want for a moment, but like check out the fucking.
Mm, mm, mm. That's three. That's three full rotations right there. That's good. That's good. That's good. Oh man.
I was so
Gosh,
excited. I couldn't even figure out how to spin for a moment. I don't know if you guys saw it. My brain was trying to do too many things, and my legs were actually like, "How do we spin again in your chair?"
just like that. Just like that. Man, what's up, everybody? Excited for tonight. Ocular Rhombus in the house. That's going to be a good one, man. What's up with you, dog? What is going on in Canada?
It's so funny, Pocket Salsa. I think Crumbs need to lay off that speed. Homie, ask any of the dudes who knew me from about 21 to 25. They will tell you those were the speed days. Now, coffee, coffee, coffee. No, you know what, actually? And I know I'm a lot. I'm a lot of energy today. And anybody who's encountered me has had to deal with this energy. I even tried to, like, pour a bunch of it into Death and Strawberry's kids earlier, thinking, like, oh, wow, I'll pour it into you guys. You guys get all this, and then I'll be a normal person. The reality is, I think everybody right now is really feeling that burn, man. Things are hard across the board. Everybody's feeling it. And just the reality is, I had a good day today. And I'm riding that good, man. So, like, you know
Good.
what? And he knows lately I've had to go out and do things I don't like doing. And if this helps for anybody else,
Mm,
literally today, I wrote down the things I could think of that were kind of bugging me about this thing I had to do. Maybe some of the anxieties, right?
mm.
And I started listing off the things that I could possibly control about the situation and giving a check mark on the things that I had done. And as I reviewed that list, I kind of realized, you know what, man? At this point, you've done everything in your control to make this go smoothly. And otherwise, you're going to show up and you're going to do boom, 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 and it's going to go how it goes.
Hey, and it went good.
And we're good.
There you go. There you go. Fixed Temple Toys says, will you guys be at DCon this year? I don't know if he was talking to me and you specifically, but the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
Crumbs and I are going to run in slow motion towards each other for the very first time. And yeah, that is going to be fun. Now, are you going Friday, Saturday, Sunday? What are you doing? We haven't even talked about this
I
at
haven't
all.
really talked about it much. Man, the reality is Death and Strawberries, and I had to actually quickly double check what we had even grabbed the ticket time and stuff like that. The 12th, I'm rolling down into Phoenix, and then otherwise, I'm just jumping on his back. I'm just piggybacking with him for the most part,
Okay.
from what I understand, man.
So he has a
Uh,
booth there. Does he have a booth there?
Him and Kerflaws have a booth there.
Okay.
Yes,
So
they
you'll probably be there
do.
for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, yes. I guess that makes sense. Yes. So,
Friday evening, as it
yeah.
were.
for whatever reason, Kerfloss and Death and Strawberries, they sat down and they were like, "We're two boring as fuck dudes, and we're talking wax. How does two boring dudes get people interested about wax?" And they were like, "Well, I know a guy who might like talking about wax." And so they reached out and they were like, "Hey, Crumbs, man, we kind of need somebody going, get your wax here." And so we're going to take a bunch of that sculpting wax and I'm just going to grow my mustache for as long as I can. We're going to friggin' get that bad boy up. And no, that I'm going to be helping them set up and hopefully drawing people over to their table. And yeah, so if you see me, I'll be peddling their goods hopefully too. Being like, buy that shit, dragging you directly over
Who's
there.
who's next to you on tables? Do you know?
I will be honest with you, man. I'm literally going day by day.
Look, man, get it together, bro. You're supposed to. You know what? Actually, I don't know if that's even come out yet of where they're going to be put at. But usually, all the resin guys are in the same little spot. So that's cool, man. That'll be awesome. They had a really good booth last year too.
He
But you
brought
could
me.
tell like you didn't want to ask to buy anything because they looked very busy. You know.
Well, and so I think that's kind of it. They do need somebody kind of manning the table. It was just a lovely opportunity in general, man. And like I feel it was a lovely opportunity. I feel very blessed that they even thought to reach out to me.
Dope, man. That is have you, dude, when's the last time you were to the States?
Never.
Never, really. Oh man,
Mm.
welcome to America, buddy.
This is America. Sorry.
That'll be wild, man. That's a for your first spot to go to Decon. I mean, that's a busy spot anyways. It's right across the
Mhm.
street from Disneyland, so you're gonna get a good dose of all the maniacs out there, and
Oh,
it's gonna be a busy time, man. Oh, I know, right? You'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I'm
Uh,
apparently the desert will be funny. I don't know why. Captain Strawberry's like, have you seen desert? I'm like, TV desert, cactus, red sand. He's like, oh, it'll be funny
oh,
going through. I'm
driving there. I
funny. I'm
didn't think
like,
about that.
what do you mean it'll be funny going through the desert?
Yeah, I didn't think about that,
This
dude.
is hilarious.
I've never made that drive before out that way, but that is desert. He's in Arizona, right? So you're going, yeah, Southwest.
He is
Yeah,
Arizona.
nice. All right.
Ed
Um,
Wang. Ed Wang. Do we have an Ed Wang? Flavor Flav.
mm, mm, mm,
Well, I don't know. I guess we'll end up seeing an Ed Wang in the chat if Ed Wang chat appears
mm.
again. Hey yo, Ed
But
Wang.
yeah, fixed temple right before Christmas. Honestly, not loving that.
Hmm.
But it is what it is. I will not be there Friday. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. Friday is usually good though because that one starts. I think it goes from like 5 to 9. But if you're looking something for something that's going to be there, that's the time to get it. Is on Friday. So, anyways, that'll be fun. Ocular Rhombus in the house tonight. What else is going on, dude? Anything?
No, I'm just saying OcularRhombus is just a thing. My fig Newtons are all fig Newtons are stale. I don't know what it is with you Americans with fig
Hmm.
Newtons. I don't think they're good. Every time I see them in the store and I think they might be good, I'm like, no,
And let's
get
just
this
be honest,
guy.
dude. Like the things, I think we got way out of hand on those things. It just kind of became a thing,
Oh,
right?
it's
Like they're
fucking
good.
hilarious,
Like they're
man.
good. They're good. Like I'm not like, crazy about them or anything, but it's good.
Oh,
I think it's one of the things you would like it or you don't. I think they're
I don't
good.
know if I've brought this up on the show before. We're talking fig Newtons. And
Mm.
I'm looking right at them. I was thinking to myself, we should probably have more like toy facts on our show. We don't really talk anything like knowledge based about toys. Did you know that the ad campaign for the California raisins was technically so successful that they had to stop it or it would have bankrupted them? And what I mean by that is basically people got so in to the actual California raisin marketing and like the gimmicks and the clothing and all the little toys and all that, but nobody changed their minds about how fucking gross raisins are. So it's not as though they
Mm.
poured all this money into all these like things and we're seeing a return in like crazy raisin sales. And if anything, the amount of money that they were spending from their raisin factory into doing this kind of shit was bankrupting them. So they eventually had to basically stop doing all the
Mm.
California raisin bullshit in order to hopefully keep their raisin company alive. And if anybody knows more than me about this, fucking chime in.
Now, don't you think the way to go would be to make the figures available only if you bought raisins? And then at that point, who cares if you like raisins or not? You sold them. I don't care what you do with them after you bought them. I got my money. That's all I need to know.
Close down the raisin factory. Clearly, you have an Alvin and the Chipmunks in your hands. What are you doing?
You're right, dude. Like even without raisins, they'd be popular, right? Like just get rid of the raisins. Why were they attached like that?
They were
Was that
maybe
like
they're
the
emotionally
mascot
attached with
for
the.
I'm like I don't know, they're just like the mascot for the raisins from California?
That's pretty rad.
I,
Street Fight SPX says that his father went to school with the guy who made those. I
oh
hope that he
wow.
actually made the rubber raisins, not those dirty fucking raisins. Now I seem
Yeah.
racist.
Um I don't know,
Anyway,
man.
fuck.
Those things are
Back to
cool
the
though. I like those little figures like that, dude. I remember those from when I was a kid. You were you even born when those came out? You weren't, were you?
Mm.
No, you weren't. Lion ass. I'm trying to do the math, or I'm just like, this guy wasn't even alive and knows way more about him than I do. Oh man. Claymation Christmas. Who remembers that one, dude? Claymation Christmas was great. Did you
Dude,
remember that?
I do not. Well, what do you like? Is there a show like a movie called Claymation Christmas?
No, no, no. It was a Christmas special starring the California Raisins, but it was called Claymation Christmas. And it was like a Christmas story, but it was all in that claymation style starring the California Raisins. It was
Oh,
great.
I don't know if I've seen that one. I will be
Yeah.
honest with you. And I only dawned on me recently because I realized I don't watch many movies. If somebody asks me about a movie, I'm like, I haven't seen it. But for some reason, probably from like now until the end of January, I will watch every single Christmas movie I can get my hands on. So it dawned on me, my favorite genre of movie is Christmas movie, man. So I gotta find this California Raisin one.
Yeah, dude, that's funny to say about Christmas. We are very big into Christmas over here. My daughter talked me into decorating for Christmas already. So the toy room is actually the only room that does not have Christmas decorations in it, besides that little Boba Fett. That is actually made by, now it's an ornament. It's actually a 3.75. That 3.75, believe it or not, Crumsy, who would you guess that this is from? No
You know,
guesses.
what is kind of tough is my brain wants to instantly go towards Healy for some reason.
Hmm.
But I'm like, well, why would Healy have that head though? So then my brain is like, that has no talent? Hmm.
Hmm. That's another good guess.
And then there's that
Claim.
dude who does the Nutcrackers as well.
Yeah.
Lay it on me, man.
Jevaho Creations,
Hmm.
5.5. It's kind of a trick question. I know you weren't going to get it. I mean, because what do you see from him is 5.5 almost like 99.9% of the time. That came up. Dude, believe it or not, this one, I don't know if this is how crazy freaking Instagram is, right? Like, so he was doing a drop. I want to say it was at Christmas last year or the year before, maybe 2 years ago now. So he's doing the drop, right? And it's 5.5s and they're going like that, boom, 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 right? This dude comes up I missed it. An hour goes by, I circle back and nobody had claimed it yet. I'm like, nah, that can't be right. So, I claim it, whatever. And I talk to him and he's like, yeah, no one, everybody passed on that. And I'm like, no way, dude. There's no way everybody passed on that. There's no way. So I don't know how that happens sometimes, man, where some of those ones just kind of go under the radar. Although I feel like everything we've been doing lately has been going under the radar. Like, I don't get it, bro. Anyways.
Everything we do lately just going under the radar. No one even notices.
Dude, it's like I don't get it, bro. Like it's going the opposite way we want it to go. I can't figure it out. Like, what are we doing differently? I don't know.
Running
Is
our
it
mouths
engagement?
too much.
Is it no? Because we keep gaining followers, dude, and we're not losing. You know what I mean? But
Look,
it's just
I sincerely think it is what I mentioned at the very beginning of of the chat here tonight, man. I think sincerely, personally, as somebody who normally is all over Instagram toys, just like what's happening when you're low, it's hard to be present with more than just staying afloat. I think at the moment everybody's a little bit exhausted. People have their heads down making for Decon. People have their heads down making for Heavy Metal Hanukkah. Zymako's got his head down making fucking 10 billion toys for his Friday drops that he always does. I think at the
mm,
moment everybody's just a little bit low. And also, keep in mind too, one trick always says it, man. Head down, chin up. Sometimes it's because somebody's not saying much and they're not posting a bunch or reacting much. It's because their head's down working, man. But that chin's up because they're stoked on what they're making.
And you know what, dude? That's a good point, man, because there's a bunch of shows coming up. You
Hmm.
know, Heavy Metal Hanukkah is right around the corner, dude. That is like, dude, that is so around the corner. That's like 2 weeks around the corner, pretty much. You know what I mean? Um,
It's
we did it. We
sneaking
did.
up fast, man.
It's sneaking up fast, dude. That's going to be yeah, we'll have to talk about that later, dude. That's the 9th, I believe. And I will not be here. So um but that's the when Porpoise is coming on though. So I was thinking about talking
Oh,
yeah, we had a collection tour with Porpoise lined up. So I was thinking maybe
nice.
if he wanted to hang out and maybe just kind of,
Yeah.
hang out with you for a minute, that'd be cool. Anyways, I'll be in Disneyland, so I will not be around. I don't want to say I'm going to be around and then not be, because that's our last day there, and then we're heading home. So, anyways,
Hey, let's pull an ocular rhombus and poke his brain and see what's up.
let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Ocular rhombus. Because you even mentioned it as well, man. And I think and he even kind of said it as well. He's on fire right now. Post after post after
Yes,
post after post. Banger. I'm going to make sure we
everyone,
finish this. Every one of
and
them.
it's
Every one.
nonstop,
Well,
nonstop.
am I crazy? We have had ocular rhombus on before, right? We had him on.
Incorrect.
I don't know why.
We did a
Okay.
giveaway. We did a
Fuck.
giveaway.
And that must have been when it was, man. For some reason, I thought we had him on before, and he had talked about the capes and the fabrics. But maybe you just knew the story so well. Man, I'm gonna show.
Oh no, that was Celestial Tredge. Do you remember that guy?
What the? No, this name is blowing my brain right now. Celeste. Anyways,
Yeah.
Ocular. What
Yo
up?
yo.
I'll be honest, man. One of my favorite parts is we never know what the hell you guys look like. You guys see us all the time. You're rocking a Why That K shirt right now as well. Get out of here. And I'm really sorry, you look like a white Danny Brown. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that before, but
Oh,
yeah.
you're on mute.
Ah, better?
Oh,
There we
Okay,
go.
oh, there it
awesome.
is. There it is.
All right.
Ocular Rhombus, how are you, sir?
Greetings.
Dude. Oh my god, that background, dude.
I'm sitting
Woo!
here wondering though how many times you have people on the show and are like, I have no idea what this person looks like. Because like as a viewer, like
Mm.
I don't know what everybody looks like. I just know them by their names. And General Porpoise doesn't look like a dolphin.
That's true.
Very confused.
That
Well,
is true.
I mean, if you really picture, I could see if this.
We I would say, unless you're making yourself, known online, or on
Yeah.
your thread, we don't know, so it's a surprise to us most of the time, which is really cool. I have seen you before, dude, and you know where I've seen you before is on your freaking, I think it's on your PayPal, something like that, maybe your PayPal picture or something like that had a
There
picture of
might
you,
be.
yeah, at one time. So that's the only thing that I would know
I
you
think
from.
my
But
my email has a picture of me. I think. I don't know.
maybe that's what it was, I don't know, dude.
Hello.
Yes, please introduce yourself for the folks at home.
Hello. It is I, Ocular Rhombus. My real name is Ernie.
Whoa! Okay, so now, do you like being called Ocular Rhombus? Does it kind of tickle you on the soul a bit, or do you prefer being called Ernie?
Nobody calls me Ocular Rhombus except for like in the context of Instagram. But that's fine. It
Yeah.
doesn't bother me.
Did you
Why that K shirt, man? Good one.
Yeah.
That's a good find there, Crumbs, dude. I didn't notice that, dude. That's good. I like that, dude. He's a good dude. I bought a shirt for him at Decon last year. It was some random like Japanese movie shirt. Anyways,
You got wild
dude,
shit.
how often do you make pieces? I mean,
Well,
it legit seems like every day you're posting, or every other day you're posting pieces, and then you go to your store and you're like, yeah, man, there's a lot of pieces in there.
when I have time to actually sit down and work on stuff, I'll start like 4 or 5 figures at the same time, and I'll just be working on them until they're done. So like right now there's like there's only 3 on my desk right now, but I started them all at the same time, and I'm just kind of continuously like one's drying and I'm doing something on the other one, waiting for that one to dry and then move on to another one. And then I'll kind of create like a little batch and I'll post a bunch of them in sequence.
Gotcha.
Do you? Is there a reason that you do that? Like, does that just help you so like everything's curing at the same time? You can do all your paint apps kind of at the same.
No, I mean, it's really because, I mean, there are times where I've only done one. It's just kind of like stream of consciousness. I mean, you see the figures and how they come out, and like they're just like random ideas out of my head, and that's how I like making them. So sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less, but I'll be working on multiples at the same time.
I'm dying to know. Now seeing your collection everywhere, are there times you're working on a piece and you suddenly like look over and like the thing you need is on your shelf? And do you harvest, or do you just cry yourself to sleep?
I will occasionally harvest. It's terrible because I'm a collector first. I'm a collector first. I will occasionally harvest, but like if I really, really need it that bad, if I have to do it, if I can't find a way to fabricate it outside of taking it off of that figure, I'll try and find like a cheap beater on eBay or something.
Mm,
Well,
mm.
and the reality too is, man, like I hope you didn't think I was gonna like punish you or something like that for
No,
like
no.
harvest your shit. It's your shit, man. It's your stuff. And
Yeah.
like the reality is that I'm sure you've made, and I think B and I have even talked about this before. There's times you've made pieces that I would love if you collaborated with somebody who makes molds and casts, and you
Hmm.
could do run because some of your figures, man, and maybe the allure is they're a one-off, but some of them are so fucking good, and it's like, huh,
Thank
all
you.
right, we'll see ya.
Then that's it. It's just the one. And honestly, like um, my biggest problem with making figures the way that I do is there are there's at least 75 to 100 that are not for sale
Mm.
because I made them and I'm just like I fucking love this. I cannot part with it. And I mean if I was casting, I could make, 5 to 10 figures, 5 to 10 copies and keep one for myself. But me, I made something really cool and it's like now I got to sell it and someone else gets to put it on their shelf.
Since you're kit bashing those, do you ever make one for yourself and then you're like, oh, I'm holding on to that one, and then you'll duplicate it and then send one, or is it just like the one off is for you?
I have Burgor is
Yeah.
like that because every
Oh yeah, yeah.
Burgor I have the original and I'll never sell the original. Like that one's
Mm.
mine. But like I have 5 that are in my collection and I'm actually gonna take 3 in addition to new ones that I'm making to assembly required. Like 3
Oh,
of my old personal ones and I'm bringing some Burgors. Um,
nice,
but I've done that. I
nice.
don't know if you remember, there was a figure that was the Tin Man and it had an IG-88 head and it was called If He Only Had a Heart. That one,
Uh,
I have the original, and I made a duplicate that I sold because I really liked the original, but also I really wanted to sell one because it was very cool.
I, dude, I don't know if do you know who bought that one? I might have that one.
I don't. It was a long time ago. I think it was before I knew you, actually.
So one of the very first pieces that I bought from you, man, it was in like a clear, it was like in a clear box, and you had actually used the packaging as kind of sort of the setup, right? I think it was busting through that,
Yes.
actually, is what it was.
Mhm.
Um,
I
I
remember
didn't really
that
have,
figure really
yeah,
well.
yeah. God, what was that, dude? I want to say that was an IG-88, maybe.
It's an IG-88 head on a Garindon body, the long
Mm,
guy from A New Hope, and then he had a machete, and I think I had a cape or cloak on him. He had some sort of like leather shirt.
for you, man, what's the best part about kit bashing versus actually pouring pieces to you? Is it just the mess, or the whole setup? And
The I don't know. I like making art out of stuff that I already consider art, I guess. Like
mm,
taking things and like remixing them almost. Like I did electronic music for a while and I still dabble, but I was doing a lot of sample-based stuff. And it's kind of a similar thing except I'm doing it with plastic now.
you know
You
what, man? real quick, Crumbs, just because so I Googled ocular rhombus today. I didn't know if that was like a thing as two words, and a bunch of your music stuff came up. And I
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
yeah, that's crazy, man. So,
Yeah,
anyways, go ahead, Crumbs. That's all I was saying.
Search engine optimization. Dude, and sorry, because now that you're talking about the music as well, like I've got to say, yeah, that just fits right in perfect. It's funny how your brain is just kind of like, yeah, mash this,
Mhm.
alter this, twist it, bend it, pass it, you know. But did you also have a film thing as well? Did you have a video store at one point as well, or am I just on another planet completely? Was Ocular Rhombus part of a video thing at one point?
No, I did
Okay,
some work. I did some work. I did some video stuff like for some of my older music.
fair.
I had cut together clips of like of Nosferatu and some other stuff to make little music videos. But again, and that was like that was kit bashing video essentially and setting it to my music.
And then Vomiting Droids is asking, and everybody was basically kind of like, do it. And it's your call because I don't know how you feel about it, but they all want to know what pieces you choose to keep.
What do I choose to keep?
Yeah, because
Uh,
I mean, you mentioned that you make certain ones sometimes, and you can't part with them. So they're all like, okay, well, what are the ones that you consider unpartable? You know?
so there's God, I'm gonna try and turn the camera. You can see because I have a little shelf here with most of my ones that. Let's see. So these, I don't know how well you can see this.
Mm.
This shelf is the ones that I am holding on to for me, and there's a few more in
Dude,
some other spots.
that freaking like witch doctor voodoo. There's so many.
Mm.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good in
Mm.
there.
a lot of them. A lot of them are some of the older ones that like they're not they're not necessarily the same quality as what I'm doing now because they're some of my first ones, but they're more sentimental to me. Like they don't have paint apps on them. They're just a lot of them are just literal cut and pastes. But like they're some of the first ones that I made. Like when I started this, God, I don't know how long ago it was. Like 2018, 2017, maybe something like that.
Right before
But
those blurry COVID times.
yeah, yeah, and I did a lot through COVID. Certainly being home a lot. Like I was working on a lot of stuff, um, but yeah, there's probably like 75 to 100 that I'm sitting on. They're mine.
And what are we looking at in your workspace there, man? Is that stuff that you're pulling from, or is that just collection stuff, or mix of
It's if it's on display, it's collection because I have
Mm.
and I can give you a brief rundown of the workspace here just because it's
Yeah,
Sure.
like
we're always
mad
gonna nerd out a bit.
everywhere. All right, so um this is like my desk that I'm working out of here. So I got my paints and I got my drawers over here are all like parts and weapons. It's all organized. Everything's labeled. This down here is all heads. There's bodies and larger parts in this thing. So I try to keep everything organized. That way I know if I need to find a head, if I need to find, arms, hands, uh, I know exactly where to look for them.
Mm. Man,
So everything
super organized.
is collection. And then I like to work around my collection because it's inspiration. And
Yeah.
I got all my toys from other creators here. I get a lot of Titty Beans pieces and um, just got some cool stuff from OmniRes and from Barrio Boba, and a couple of Pendragon things came in. But I like having it around when I'm making.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, when you grab from dudes like that, because we have seen sometimes that you'll end up incorporating like miscasts or misfires into your
Mhm.
stuff, or even sometimes even
Mhm.
just like certain accessories from other people. When you get that, do you find that people generally kind of stock your box up with some extras like that, knowing that you're gonna do some fun shit?
I haven't that hasn't happened yet,
Well, do it, do
but
it, do it.
but I did explicitly buy a box of miscast parts from Bava Drock, and
Mm.
like and Titty Beans always sends weapons, and I'm always looking for different guns and knives and stuff. And sometimes I paint them, sometimes I just leave them because his weapons are really nice.
And a lot of them.
Yeah, and he sends it's like a bag every time, little
Yeah.
ordnance package.
A
It's like
little
why do you
ordnance
send them always
package.
knives are the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Knives are the hardest thing.
And what would you say is like, what's currently your favorite part of the process, man? Because like, is it like you incorporate fabrics, you incorporate paint apps, you incorporate like the kit bashing style of cutting things. I'm sure you Dremel things. You're stuck
Yep.
glue in and
Nails,
the nails
Nails
on the
now.
arms on the new one.
bro.
I don't
What was
at
that?
the
That
risk
was wild.
at the risk of spoiling, that piece is very cool with the nails. My heavy metal Hanukkah piece is way better.
Have you
It's the
been
most
in a bunch
dangerous thing I've ever created.
most interesting thing you've ever created?
No, dangerous.
Oh,
Oh,
dangerous. Good, good.
yeah.
That's how we like our toys.
There we go.
That being
Yeah.
said, and you
My,
even kind of mentioned,
you're saying my favorite part of the process.
Mm.
I like the final stages when I'm putting the fabric and stuff on. I'm doing the final paint apps, and then I like photographing them actually a
Mm.
lot.
I know somebody else who enjoys photographing their toys as well, man. What about that part? Is it because you've just like put new life into them? Like what kind of titillates you about that part?
You're like, I don't know. It's like you're documenting it. You're creating evidence of this thing that you created, and now I have the ability to share it. Before
Mm.
it was just in front of me. It was just something I was working on, and that was great. But now I can show it off. I guess it
How
sounds
do you document your stuff, man? Do you take pictures of everything that you make?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
once
And
it's
then
once it's done, I will photograph it, and even if I don't post it, there is
yeah,
still a record of it. And then for me now, that's essential. Like I need to photograph everything. I mean, if I'm posting it, I'm photographing it anyway, but I need to hold on to those photos because for me now, that's all that exists of it. It's in someone else's collection. It's on their shelf. I don't have it anymore, so I need to save all the pictures of it.
yeah.
Dude, some people do not understand that. I've mentioned it to people who ask me about this world when like I have totally given pieces to people and been like, I think you're important. I want you to have this piece. But then I also tell them I'm like, if you ever post this in your story or on your wall or anything, like tag that person. They will never see that toy again potentially. Like
Yeah.
it means something to somebody to see that there, dude. Like ah, what are some of like the pieces you probably missed the most that sometimes you're kind of like, fuck.
Oh, there was one I sold. The one I made recently. It was like a Vader. And it used one of those old Leonard like bomb suit bodies, but he had like a big sword. He had a giant sword. Not
Mm.
the most recent one because I tried to remake a similar thing, but like the um it's that one's the newer one, and then
Mm.
there's an older one that I made that I like I miss. I'm not sure.
I'm still gonna dive because if nobody's been to your page in a while, man, I think it's good that we're scrolling your page anyways because you've been just like, don't get me wrong, man. Like this is even a while back. You're still kicking out like the bangers there, but like, like, dude,
Dude, the one that okay, keep scrolling up, Crumbs. Keep going,
I
keep
love
going.
these bodies when you grab those, man.
Yeah, that's what the Vader one was that I was talking about. It's got a
Oh,
Oh,
blue
dude.
hood,
gotcha.
and I love that body.
Right there in the middle. Back down a little bit. The three right there.
Oh, the mummy.
Dude, the mummy wraps. We were talking about that recently with somebody. Man, who was it, Crumbs? Somebody recently, man, and we were talking about the figure on the left in particular. I think it was Titty Bean, because we were talking about the motion in that, or just kind of the action and the bend and how much that adds to it. Those are crazy, dude. Those are in the shop, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all three of these are in the shop actually. So
Um,
it's I just cut like long strips of fabric and like slowly made my way around the whole thing, gluing and wrapping it, and then
Oh fuck, that's
there's
tedious.
like two coats of paint on it. Like there's a coat with like some red and some blood, and then uh what's it called? Citadel color Null Oil, which is like a black wash, which is like my favorite fucking paint in the world.
Had you painted miniatures or anything before entering into the scene doing this, man?
No, and I was really clumsy at first. Like when I first did paint on figures, it was just the spray paint, and I still do the spray paint. I love the spray paint, but I wasn't really doing any details. And then I started doing a little bit, and I had like shitty brushes and crappy I still use some crappy acrylic paint, but I was using like crappy brushes, and it was clumsy. It was a little heavy handed, and I wasn't very good with it. But I've slowly been doing it more and more, and now like almost every figure has some sort of paint app on it, where like I'm trying to do like the eyes and like little details, and like I've picked up like tons of brushes, little tiny ones, and I've always got a little palette of paint that I'm working off of, which is always a paper plate.
The splatter, man. I think the splatter is your signature, man. At least as far as the paint apps go, man. Like I could line up probably 50 to 100 figures and pick yours out of them just based on the paint app.
I didn't see anybody else doing like spray paint stuff like that, and I was like, I don't know. It's just like I thought about like I'm using a lot of incongruous parts, and they don't always look like they fit together. But when I first started doing the splatter, I was like, if I hit everything with a splatter of spray paint, now it looks like these incongruous elements are supposed to be there because they've all got that coat on them.
Right.
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 It's like connective tissue for stuff was what I was trying to do with it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, and it even kind of creates a lore as well. Like, there's a lot of times you're looking at your figures, and like you're even actually saying, man, like that, as much as it creates that congruency, it's also kind of like, no, but it also adds like there's a lot of depth to your characters, man. Considering that they're like kit bashes, personally, like almost every piece that you look at, you can almost envision like a world that this thing exists within.
Mm.
And there is a world that they all exist in. Most of them. There's this sort of weird, loose, like battered plane of existence in my head where all of these cretins exist. It's called the Land of Phantoms, and it's just like this shattered remnant of a universe that's constantly having other universes collide with it, all kinds of multiversal incursions. That's why you got all these weird creatures and different kinds of shit. And there's no story. There's no real like character or anything like that. It's just like, okay, there's a wasteland and there's these weird tribes of people that wander through this wasteland, and then like there's these evil dictator guys, and it's just like I'll create a character and be like, okay, you kind of fit in this world, and I'll make like a very brief synopsis of how they fit, and then it just put it out there.
I like that, man, because admittedly, even when you first said like it's not like a protagonist or main character or something like that, my brain's like, well, yeah, show me who like Earth's out of the 8 billion, show me who Earth's protagonist is, right? Like we're all just fucking around doing shit. Like it's not like, and then what's cool is that it also kind of breaks that fourth wall a little bit because as much as they're kind of slapping in and intermingling from all these different dimensions, you are kit bashing from a lot of other different worlds that have been built by creatives and artists such as yourself before this as well. So it's like that remixing, man. It's almost like going through like the wormhole into OcularRhombus's home. They just get fucking mashed up and ripped apart and fucking. Sorry. And then you've touched on it a little bit. You even kind of said your heavy metal Hanukkah piece is gonna be like the most dangerous piece. Now, I think in the scene, typically people know like I'm a toucher, man. I'm touching shit. He's and he might open it and look at it, but he's where would you put your pieces? Because the reality is when we're in the art toy world, we do typically know these are art. We're not supposed to be out in the sandbox, but would you typically prefer your pieces to basically be considered like art pieces you display?
So it kind of varies because I do work with a lot of bodies where I will keep the shoulder and hip joints so that they're posable. Like most of what I'm going to replace is going to be the extremities and the head. I do occasionally replace other parts, but I try to keep the shoulders and hip joints as much as I can intact because I don't want them to necessarily just be static. And not that there's anything wrong. I've made static pieces before. Like I try to have them have like at least that 5 POA or like 4 POA, I guess, articulated. Most of my heads aren't articulated. But I try to have that. So I mean, touch, yes. Play with, not so much. I had to take a piece off of my store recently because every time I went to move it, like these little pieces on it were breaking off, and like if I don't touch it, that's fine, and I'll keep it, and it won't. But I didn't feel comfortable like sending it in the mail. So it was kind of a bummer. It is a cool piece though, so I'm happy to keep it.
You said you started making pieces in, you said 17, 18?
Like 17, 18. I got into, I'm not sure, I think it was somebody I was working with. I got into vintage Masters of the Universe figures because I'm 37, so I'm slightly younger. Like that was like 2 years before I was born was Masters of the Universe. So I never collected them. And then a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, these figures that you never played with are really cool." And so I started like buying up vintage ones, and I had some duplicates, and I was like, "Oh, I can make like my own goofy ones." And that's kind of where like Burgor came from. But my first ones are like I think there's like a zombie trap jaw, and some of the really old ones there. And then from there, it was just like I was doing this at work. I had like a little toolbox that I'd carry with me to my office at work, and I worked with this guy who was like into what I was doing. And so I would just be like, when there was downtime, I'd just be like at my desk, like cutting stuff up and gluing it together, and carrying this little box full of parts.
Yeah. What got you to kind of move away from 5.5 as far as scale goes? Because I mean, you're almost primarily 3.75, right? I think everything. Actually, no, I have a couple from you that are I mean, they're obviously one-off pieces, but they're not 3.75. But I think the majority is 3.75, right?
Most of what I'm doing is 3.75 now,
Yeah.
which is kind of my favorite scale anyway. Although I do like, I like 6-inch figures, but doing customs and kit bashes and in 6-inch is just a little more expensive. So I've done some, and I've done some that I really like that Christ Trooper that I did. That was a 6-inch. Retro Gimmick actually bought that one.
Oh, sweet.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know why. If you guys say 6 inches one more time, I'm gonna explode. I don't know why. It's just the average, and I get it, but it's just a number. I don't know why. Okay, but it's killing me over here.
yeah. Most of what I'm doing is 3.75 right now. I like working that scale, but I do like I like my vintage Kenner figures. So like I use the Robin Hood line a lot, and those are all 4-inch scale. So like I do some other weird scales, like if I have the parts for it.
Yeah.
Most of it's 3.75.
Makes sense, man. And admittedly, like let's be real, there's a lot of accessible parts for the 3.75 and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
When
And
it
I mean,
comes,
I can cannibalize my own collection to a certain extent of that because I have a lot of my toys from when I was a kid, and it's like if I need like a Power of the Force 2 figure, like I have one somewhere.
Right.
it's not often that people keep their toys from their youth. How did that happen? If you don't mind my asking.
So my mother saved everything. She saves everything. Thankfully, uh, and I think it was because like my father's mother like got rid of all his stuff, and he had like Universal Monster stuff and comic books from
What
like
a bitch.
the 60s that he really liked. Then she ended up getting rid of it, and I think my mom was like, "Well, I don't want that to happen to my kids." She saved like all of my stuff. I got it back and I sold a bunch of it, but I went through and I was like, I want to keep all these. These were mine, and I can use them now.
It looks like you have quite the massive graphic novel collection as well, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
do. I do. Well, I
Hell
work.
yeah. Oh,
This is about what's on the
you,
shelf here is like, I don't
your
know,
swamp shelf, bro.
maybe like a third. It's like a, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, and not even just that one. I see the little Imagine X little bastard there that comes with the
Yep.
Batman, the
Yep.
stupid Batman with the crap machete, and then you've got the fucking big old McFarlanes over there.
Crumbs, did you see my Abby Arcane?
Dude, is that what's in that right-hand corner right there? I have never seen that figure.
It because it doesn't. I made it because they don't make an Abby Arcane figure,
Oh, frig.
so I had to make one because I wanted one for my my Mattel Swamp Thing, which is like one of my favorite toys, and like they don't make one, so I had to make it.
That's a goodie, man.
Yeah.
The hair is fucking like perfect, dude. Oh, hello. Sorry.
Who do you collect, man? Is there somebody that you kind of keep an eye out for and like to collect?
Well, I was a painted tier on Titty Beans for a while, so I
Oh,
was collecting
nice.
that.
Okay.
Waiting for him. Hopefully, when he moves and reopens, I'll rejoin that because getting those things. I love that he
Yeah.
sends blanks because
Mm,
that gives me a chance to practice like wash techniques, and I can paint on those, and I know that they're a
nice.
good result. Um, uh, I try to pick up when he does a drop. I try to pick up at least one piece from Pendragon when he does like a big drop
Mm,
because they're
nice.
all fire.
Yep.
And then honestly, like I try to spread what money I have to spend on toys around to different designers because I can't like just uh I can't get everything as much as I would like to. So I try
This
to get
fucking capitalistic hellscape, man. Pissing me off.
yeah. I just want to sit here and make toys and not have to worry about getting a job, you know, and buy toys. I can't. This is not my living. So
Well, and that's just it, man. I think like it's like the dream for I think for a lot of folks would be to just be able to create full
yeah.
time. Absolutely. The reality that I find strange is that like even some of the dudes that we know to be doing this for a long time, if you were to ask them like how much of their livelihood actually is just from their art,
Hmm.
it's not covering everything, man. You know
No,
what I mean? Like I don't know many of the dudes in the art like in the art toy scene that are like fully paying everything with just their art toys. Healy?
maybe, probably.
I remember there was an artist one time that even said it, and like they were like, if you want to do this full time, get yourself a really rich partner. And you're kind of like, there you go, like,
Yeah.
and like a romantic partner. They were basically saying, right? I'm not gonna say like get yourself a girlfriend or boyfriend. Like I don't know, there's fucking 2023. Get yourself a human, apparently. But
Yeah, I think
otherwise, yeah.
some of the older guys who've been doing this for the longest time uh can probably sustain themselves on it. Like I know, Zuck Lord can.
Well, okay, boom. No, so that's where I'm saying like the times are hard for everybody, man. It blew my mind when you have Sucklord doing a Kickstarter where he's kind of like, hey guys, like things are tough. Like I need some help with things. It's kind of like, okay, like you're at the top of the game and you're asking for help.
He,
So even
he
that one's
is
tough.
he is at the top of the game, but you know what? I was watching a video from him today. I was watching one of his chip review videos that he does, and he introed it by saying like that he's got some of his chip figures still in his store and that they haven't sold. And the way that he's talking about it, like, and I'm not like insulting the guy. The way that he talks about it, he's like the most arrogant toy maker ever. That's his
But
personality. That's a
yeah,
part of the art.
yeah,
That's
that's
a part
the
of the art that he's making. And
yeah.
I feel like I didn't truly realize it until I watched him like really shilling these things that hadn't sold. I was like, that whole personality is a piece of what he's selling you.
Well, I think that's kind of something that like people who love Sucklord kind of acknowledge that, and I
Yeah.
would say there's even like a degree of people that kind of like him, just like anything that you have like a big following for, right? Like his art style, there's people that admire it and like and they're right into it, and they probably pick up on a little bit better. Like I'm sure like somebody like Dove is obviously going to understand
Yeah.
like what the like what is actually happening maybe in one of those maybe
Mhm.
more so than somebody like myself, but the dude in my opinion whether it's intentional or not he markets himself beautifully. Even that chip shit, dude, in my brain
Yeah.
I'm like that's fucking hilarious. Like get it, the boxes of garbage that he was doing at one point,
Mm,
it's smart. And I don't know if you guys know how that started, but my understanding of that situation is that somebody on Reddit basically ended up claiming they got a Sucklord box one time and there was a tube sock in there. And the thread started joking about how that tube sock was probably one of his jizz socks, right? And you got this guy then selling it on eBay for a whole bunch of fucking money, claiming it's Sucklord's jizz sock. You got Sucklord sitting there going, well, you know what? If somebody's gonna take a random tube sock, claiming that it's my like dirty old jizz thing, and spend that much on eBay for it, why aren't I selling my garbage? If you guys for some reason are in love with getting some Sucklord garbage, here you go. I'll give you some legitimate, authentic Sucklord garbage. That's
Why don't I
cheap.
actually sell my jizz sock?
Well, and then it's funny you say that, man. I wasn't a part of the auction that happened the one time, but he did end up doing an auction for a jizz rag, Now he's a resin head. I'm sure it was silicone, resin, glue, whatever. Again, performance art, right? But
Right.
I remember there was dudes in that chat later. People were like, "Man, they're having a bidding war in there for that." And my first thoughts were,
Mm.
why is there nobody in their lives who cares about them enough to say, "Homie, stop bidding on this jizz rag"? But people were bidding on it on a jizz rag in a live chat auction. The guy knows how to sell himself.
He does.
And that's what's weird, man. And that's what I don't really understand is like you just said that there's pieces that are still in the shop for sale. I remember when that was like used to not be a thing, man. Like, I mean,
Yep.
it was, they'd be there, but then they'd be gone. And then some of those auctions, like that was my real first dose of reality into, I would say this scene as far as like the higher end stuff. I went to one of those auctions that he was doing, and I saw the prices that people were throwing out there right away, and I'm just like, oh shit, like yeah, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just piece after piece after piece like that. I remember for me what a big deal it was the first time that I got a Sucklord piece and I actually landed one. It was one of those things where you're on the site and you got to buy it right away. And for whatever reason, maybe it's the chip thing, dude. I think those are actually pretty cool. But you're right, dude. It's not, it's not really about the piece. I mean, it is, but it's more about, I think Sucklord as a whole,
Yeah.
and partly why he's been super successful, kind of marketing that whole gimmick.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a big I've had a big uptick lately in stuff that I've been selling. And I know that's because I made it more accessible. Having a store now makes it a lot easier for people to get stuff from me, because before, I mean, it was all, DM me for to purchase. And it's so much easier now with the big cartel store that I have, where I can just throw it up there and even if it sits there, it's like it's there. I don't have to like reestablish that it's there in any way. Like it's just like it's there.
Yeah.
I can direct somebody to the store and they can browse.
Well, B and I talk about this all the time, admittedly, like, and it happens with artists all the time where we'll be scrolling their pages and we're like, oh crap, those are still available, and they're like, yeah, people didn't dig them. I've got like 10 of them still, and you're like, we had no idea. You posted one time 8 months ago,
Yeah.
and then just never talked about it ever again, and assumed that we all hated it, but we had no idea you did a wave of 10 or something. And that's what I think. And dude, honestly, your store right now looks really good too. Sorry, I'm creeping it even as you were saying that, and I'm like, yeah, like the reality is, dude, like you didn't just do like, because I know there's some folks, and there's no harm in it, because if you're not getting a lot of traffic yet, doing like five pieces on like a free big cartel or something makes sense. But you've literally packed this thing down with some gems, man, like that Rag Man, dude, Spaceman, like, oh, oh.
I had the I had the $10 plan for big cartel that gives you like 50. You can put 50 products up, and when I got to 45, I was like, fuck, I gotta pay $20 a month now. I need the 500. Like, and I don't need 500, but like I need more than 50.
That, and then it's almost kind of like the hot dog and hot dog bun situation, right? Where there's like that no in
Yeah.
between. It's kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to add that amount. But again, man, it just allows you to keep on tossing things in there. And then I don't know how the big cartel works out, but like with the amount you have in here right now, in my opinion, you could easily in a week take everything down here and literally just flip it upside down, and certain things would sell just because sometimes people don't, if you're on your phone or something like that, it doesn't load or you don't see it.
Yeah.
Some people just might not even just know that there's cool shit down here, man.
Yeah. I
Um,
I left all the sold out ones, and I think that's really just a vanity thing for me, because I like looking at it and seeing sold out.
No, you know what, dude? You know what, dude? Like, Chad, like if you have the room to do it, dude, I highly recommend that you do that. I know that Lab 9 actually just, I think he went back and added a bunch of stuff that was sold, older pieces, and he added them just kind of to the back end pages, because that store, even though there's not a lot for sale in there, there's probably nothing for sale in there. Dude, there's still like, 4, 5, 6 pages of stuff that he's done in the past. That stuff still, even though it's sold out, that's still fun to look through.
Yeah.
And it's archived if Instagram ever crashes. Like if ever Instagram account disappears or anything, like at least it's archived on a whole other URL that's not associated with Instagram at all.
Yeah, definitely. I like having a record there as well. Yeah, like just like not just on Instagram.
So I know the stores, man. I mean, there's a lot of people that I've talked to recently, probably um, probably more recently than anything about stores. I know that stores are raising their fees, and a lot of people are saying, "Hey, I'm done with my stores." But then you start thinking about what you have to do to kind of sell it on the back end as far as, hey, DM me, and then we got to set up payment. And there's a lot of that contact of this interaction, right? And I think that's where a lot of frustration from some artists is that interaction where somebody kind of drops the ball and then it's like, man, I'm waiting on this guy and I don't know. And it's like, maybe there's a time difference, maybe you're in a different part of the world, maybe even if it's a 3 hour East Coast, West Coast thing, it can be a pain in the ass. For you, what do you think is probably the biggest advantage, maybe the few biggest advantages of having a store that you're willing to sacrifice that charge that they're now, is it charged? Is it a per month thing or is it a per sale thing or both?
It's a per month thing for what I'm doing right now. I imagine based on how much I've sold that like at the end of the year, I'm going to get a tax form.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
you'll get that. On what I sold because that's new law now. I mean, I sold like $600 worth of stuff on eBay, and they were like, "Oh, you got to fill out a 1099 now."
Yeah, once you hit $500, dude, that's some bullshit, by the way. But anyways, that's a whole separate story.
Yeah.
$500, really, bro. Come on, that's ridiculous.
The billionaires don't pay anything, but by all means, tax my $500. We really need that money.
Yeah. Take all my money, and we're still $33 trillion in debt. That makes a lot of fucking sense. Anyways,
yeah. There are some. I think there are some fees for sales taken out from Big Cartel. I really just I looked at usability of it, and I just kind of want to get my stuff out into the most hands as I can. So I looked at the usability of it and what was going to be the cheapest on like a monthly charge for me to have a store, and it was cheaper than Shopify. Even though I've used Shopify before, I just went with it because like other people have had success. I think like Dollar Slice uses Big Cartel as well. Some other folks, and I just was like this. Even if they take some money out from the sales, like it makes it easier for me to sell stuff to people, and like that's worth it to me. Because like I'm not making a ton of money. Most of my figures are $35-$40, and it probably costs me $10 to $15 in parts for a lot of them. I mean, some of them are way cheaper than that to make. Others are more expensive. So on average, probably like $10 to $15 a part. So at most, I'm making like $20 on a figure.
Yeah.
The time like a Burgor, I have to sell for $65-$75 because it costs me like $20 to get a vintage Mayor McCheese on eBay.
Yeah.
That's what I knew it was gonna be, that fucking head, man.
That and honestly, they've gone up in price on eBay, of course, for Mayor McCheeses, and I'm pretty sure I'm the reason why.
That being the case, man, if you're seeing stuff like that kind of increase that you're going to want to make down the road, have you ever considered anything else as far as replication goes, like 3D printing or anything like that? Rotocasting, that would be a heavy ass piece. I know that.
So like I thought about it for Burgor, like it would have to be a 3D print because it's got to be light, because it's not going to sit like a Masters of the Universe body is not going to hold up a resin head that size. It's just going
to the legs would just go.
It's your split. But yeah, it would have to be 3D printed. But I don't know. There's something about like the salt, like because they're like a squishy, like the old Ninja Turtle head.
Yeah,
like the Burgor is like a squishy head like that. And there's something about like that pliability of it that I really like. Plus, I can cut the joint right off of the vintage figure, and the head can still fit on it, and I can just glue the joint, like the flat part of the joint, right on top of the Masters body. So it's the Burgors are fully articulated.
Yeah,
even the head. And if I can't do that, then I'll do a magnet for those, because like it's like my special piece.
Dude, Jimmy Folklore, that's a great question, dude. What do you do with the Mayor McCheese bodies?
I just have a bunch of them. I don't do anything with them. I literally just have like a graveyard of Mayor McCheese bodies.
Dude, I bet there's something there. Jimmy Folklore's onto something, man. There's something there with that body.
Yeah, I mean, I got like, it's just, I have tons of these.
Maybe there's not something there with that body, man. I don't know.
It's a gross.
That is not what I expected at all, dude.
Dude, that's a pretty jokes ass fucking body, actually. Like,
That looks
I mean,
like,
it's a buck.
But
bro, that
it's
looks
got
like a
this
human.
weird like it's got this weird
Yeah.
like joystick on the back that like maneuvered the head around. Like
That looks like a human chicken, is what that looks like a human raw chicken, dude.
I know, but imagine anybody throwing some wax on that in a moment or two, right? Filling up those holes, adding on some like that's a great buck in my opinion, man.
if anybody wants a bunch of Mayor McCheese bodies, I will send you a box of them, and I won't charge you. I don't do anything with them.
Wow,
Tradesies.
that's
There you go,
funny.
man.
That's funny.
It feels wasteful. Like I'm not gonna throw them away.
Yeah.
I don't throw anything away. Like I don't know if you saw when I did scraps, like the pile of scraps that I posted for my picture was like here I have it. It's literally like a plastic bag full of tiny bits of plastic shreds of fabric and like just
Mm,
like actual like garbage. But I can't throw it
nice.
away because like I might need a little tiny black spike or I might need this little strip of fabric for something. So I save it all. And I'm just like trying to
Mm.
remember like if I have something like that or I'll dig through this and like I don't toss anything.
So Folklorian is saying claim the Mayor McCheese bodies. He's all over him. I don't know
DM
why, but
DM me.
there you go. Fucking weirdos.
Jimmy Folklore. Speaking of Jimmy Folklore is going to be on the show in a few weeks.
Oh shit.
That'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be fun. Dude, so considering where you started off at the whole kit bashing thing, like take one of your first very kit bashes that you did, and what you're doing now. What do you think is the biggest change? Are they just a lot more involved? I mean, even just in this short time since I've been buying from you, dude, I think they're getting more elaborate, dude, as far as the amount of materials that you're using. We talked about the nails, that was bizarre. The ones that Crumbs posted right in the center of your graphic with the kind of gem heads on them. There was a run of 4 of those.
That
Yeah.
so the stone speakers is an experiment because they're it's a set of 4 and they're the same idea, but they're all slightly different. Like they have different colored capes, and
Yeah.
different paint. Like they have the spray the paint splatter, and like they each have a different staff. But it's like it's like not like a set, but like it's my attempt at doing something that's like a limited run.
Yeah, and I
I'm
like
gonna do
I like that you've used the same body, and so it looks uniform, like they are a
yeah.
team or a squad or something like that. Yeah, that's dope, man. The one on the far right. Yeah.
The one on the far right is my favorite. The red cape. That's the best one.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's an experiment because
shit.
I'm gonna do something similar for assembly required. I'm gonna do
Nice.
a small run, in addition to whatever else I'm bringing. But I I wanted to start at a certain point incorporating stuff that wasn't necessarily you wouldn't associate it with an action figure. I mean, it was kind of like I was just expanding the idea of that world in my head. And
Yeah.
now it's like if I have something that's got like wiring on it, some kind of droid, like I'll use like a piece of wire and just glue it and connect it. Like I constantly have all kinds of glue all over my fingers. And you learn also, which is very strange, certain materials do not take super glue. There's certain kinds of plastic
Mm,
that I can tell when I'm cutting it or feeling it. I'm like, this is not going to stick with super glue to this other kind of plastic, which is like a weird thing to know.
right.
Um, but
And in that case, what would you use instead of that?
if I can Dremel out a little hole in the inside and get a peg on either end and glue a peg to either piece if the two plastics
Nice.
won't fit together. Um, but if it's really bad, if it's that kind of like like the cheap weapons from like dollar store figures, their plastics don't glue very well. So
Mm,
I won't try to glue them to anything. I'll use something else because it's like
gotcha.
I mean I only really use one kind of glue, so uh, mostly.
Have you sewn anything yet?
No, I haven't sewn anything, but I saw the hand sewn stuff that Barbarian Rage was doing recently, and I was like, oh, maybe I could do something like that.
Even just a quick stitch sometimes when it won't stick, especially like Because, dude, you're using bulky fabrics on some of these things. Like, I'm looking at this one here. I know B's got a couple pieces with this fabric on there. It's like that snake skin one. But
Yeah.
that looks like it would be a pain in the ass, man.
So yeah, well that's actually felt with a faux snakeskin on it. So
Dude.
that one's pretty thin. But I do use a lot of I use a lot of leather. So like I'll go to like a craft store and you can buy like a bag of leather remnants.
Okay.
And I like that because they have like a lot of them have already like jagged edges, frayed edges, and I can kind of cut around the shapes that are existing on it to create like asymmetrical capes and stuff like that. Because I want like weird oddball fabrics. There was a piece by actually B. I think you might have it. It's a piece by One Trick Pony. That's it's a white Chewbacca.
Ooh, I don't have that, but that sounds very nice.
I don't know if it was One Trick Pony or somebody. It's like a white Chewbacca, and it's got like a cape that looks like it's made out of carpet or something. And I saw that. Is it not One Trick?
Celestial Treasure is this one that we were just talking about?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
That piece. When I saw that cape, I was like, I need to do more weird fabrics. And
yeah, he had an amazing connection with his dad who did something in upholstery. And so he just had like unlimited amounts of this stuff. And then he ended up using, and then he ended up using, I think, some of his wrestling uniforms or some really just kind of odd stuff like that. But that was really cool.
I love that.
Dude, what a great idea. So you said you get most of yours in like fabric remnants, and you're getting that from just like a fabric store. Are you asking for that by name or?
Yeah, you can go to Michael's and go to like the leather section, and like on the bottom shelf there is a bag of it's just like leather remnants. And
gotcha.
It's a bag, and it's like I don't know, like $7 or $12, and it's just like this bag that's stuffed full of like scraps and bits of leather. And I bought a few of those. I've gotten some fabric from other places. Like there's one, I don't know if you like one of my scraps pieces and some of my other pieces have this like it's like it almost looks like red denim. It's the bottoms of a pair of jeans that I had that I made into shorts. And I just saved the fabric and I've been using it for figures. Like one of the oracles that I did recently with the blue marble for the head. Has a cape made out of that.
Dude, those oracles, man, you could have done a run of 10 of those and sold every one of them, dude. I'm serious.
When the first one sold, I was like, all right, I have the parts to make a couple more. And so I made a couple more and those sold immediately. And I'm putting this one up later. This one is not yet released, but this is an oracle that's going up on my site after this broadcast.
Dope.
So
I didn't even think about using marbles for the head, man. That's so fucking smart because it looks so good.
I was like, what can I put on this that like is different? And I had these little cobalt blue marbles, and I was like, oh, okay, let's try that. And a lot of it's experimentation. I'll put it on there and I'll see if it looks good. And sometimes it doesn't, and I'll just crack it off and glue something else on instead. It's a lot of trial and error to come up with ideas that I think look cool. Because I really like those stone speakers, but I don't know how cool they are because like I don't know, nobody bought any of them.
They're dope though, man. I do like them. I do like those. Where do you see? I mean, obviously, from where you started to where you are now, they're getting a little bit more intricate and visually better pieces. I think. Two questions: one, where do you come up with the names? And two, do you see it evolving even more? Is there a direction that you're trying to go as far as your next upcoming pieces, or?
I don't necessarily see the future evolution of it because I kind of like keep creating them and keep coming up with different ideas. So I mean, I don't really see a trajectory in that way except to just keep trying to get better at what I'm doing and keep making things that I mean, at my core, what I'm doing is making things that I think are cool. And then like maybe somebody else does. And it was like that when I was doing music too. I was making music that I wanted to listen to. And if somebody else liked that, that was cool. If not, I made something cool that I enjoyed. And then what was the first part of the question?
I don't even know.
I mean, I don't know. I just want to get better at it and make them more intricate and try to incorporate all kinds of different weird ideas into. Oh, you want to know how I came up with the names?
Oh yeah, how do you get your names?
The names, like, I don't know. I a lot of it just comes from like what I think it'll look like, and I mean, it's also like kind of trying to fit it into the framework of this like bizarre like wasteland, you know, dead space place that they all exist in. I end up what's unfortunate is you end up with a lot of bounty hunters and assassins and you know, there's a lot of the same archetype over and over again. And I'm trying to pull away from that a little bit, but it's like if I make a guy who's got a knife and a gun and he looks like he could have been a Star Wars bounty hunter, it's like, okay, he's a bounty hunter or an assassin or some sort of raider or something. And it does lend itself to that. But then I don't know, I try to either base it on something that's recognizable, some words that are recognizable by people, or something that's a name that's evocative of more than what the figure is necessarily showing you.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
way it's part of, not that it changes what you think the story of that character is, but it gives you a little bit more insight into what they are just based on the fact that their name isn't like, you know, Steve.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I think you're right, man. I think that the name lends a lot to it, you know, just as much as any other part does. And can kind of, you know, without, you know, you can say a name and kind of imagine what you think it'll look like.
Right.
You know, yeah, very cool.
I mean, like the oracles, I was like, all right, it's got a crystal ball for a head.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that works. Stone Speaker was, I think it's something from Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's like a Stone Speaker crystal or something in that. But I mean, I take inspiration from comic books, from Magic the Gathering, like anywhere where that anything I'm a fan of that has nerdy shit, and I'm making nerdy shit, and I'm like, okay, I can be inspired by, you know, this Marvel character or this card or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If your house was suddenly on fire right this minute, you can only take 3 pieces with you. What 3 pieces are coming with you at the door?
Oh God. The first Burgor. 3 of my pieces or 3 of my collection?
I will allow you to have 6 if you'd like in total. You can have 3 of your own and 3 from the rest because I want to see 6 toys.
Oh God. Oh man. I
And
don't
if
know.
you've got that first Burgor, we've got to see that first
The
Burgor,
first one?
obviously.
The first one. Let me get the first one. It's in the back here. You know how toy collections are. You don't want to pick something up because you're gonna knock over 12 other things trying to get the fucking thing out.
Yes, I do apologize in advance.
Oh
Sorry.
no, it's fine. This is the very first Burgor. Sorry, center.
That's some good shit.
So the paint,
Nice.
like the ketchup paint on the boots, is actually a metallic red, which is not what I normally use, and it wasn't done with spray paint. It was done with like just like shitty metallic paint and like a brush, like dabbing it. But he's fully articulated, and it's a Triclops body, and then the Mayor McCheese head and the original sash from the Mayor McCheese figure. That's him.
Man, I love that he's got the OG sash too. Have you managed to collect most of them with the OG sash, or are they usually missing?
They're usually missing the sash, and I have purple fabric and yellow paint, and I'll make my own. Like if I have the sash, I'll use the original sash. But every Burgor is different. Every one of them has something different about it. Like there's a gladiator one. There's the one that's got the mace with a pickle on it and a green fist, and he's the hold the pickle version. There's a Burgor king where he's got a crown on instead of the hat. Like I try to make them each. They're all they all have different weapons. Some of them have a sash, some don't. Like the gladiator one has like an M, like in ketchup, like on his chest, like a big like he's gonna go fight. Not actual ketchup, obviously.
No, but okay. So we've got the first Burgor would be coming. What else is coming with you?
Probably my Mattel Swamp Thing, my DC Classics, the San Diego one. Which that's that one down there.
Yeah, man.
I
I love
got
the yellow flowers on that, dude.
Yeah. Plus it's the Alan Moore Swamp Thing. It's better than the previous DC Direct figure that they had released for that character, and it's just like it's got that rubberized skin. And for some reason, they did something with it where it doesn't break down. Like if anybody remembers the Lord of the Rings Cave Troll figure, where the skin deteriorated over time on it, that Mattel Swamp Thing doesn't do that. I don't know how they figured it out, but they did, thankfully. So that one would go. I would. God, I don't know. I have too many toys, and you're making me choose. I'm gonna choose to curl up into the fetal position inside the burning building and die with all of them.
That's what I've decided I'll do as well. Just roll the chair against the
I'm
wall.
here with my friends.
Yep.
I mean, I could try and take the Razor Crest, but that's just gonna be a project.
Damn. Okay, wait a minute. What the hell is? I did not recognize that earlier. What
What's
is
what?
that ginormous ship in the background? You can't, you cannot show that but not discuss it. What's that green thing? Is on top of the Walking Dead graphic novels.
Oh, that's a Renzi Hulk bank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have
What
a
year is
big
that?
one.
That's got to be early
Uh,
80s.
Let's see, this is kind of 78.
Did
Yeah.
you say you have a pink one too?
I have a big one. This one's a small one. I have one that's like taller somewhere.
Do you ever kiss it?
No, no. I think
I would.
you
We know.
you got to taste that old plastic. I think was it Zymont? He had some Renzi banks or something on his feed recently. Those
Did he mold and cast them?
I think they were his collection.
Oh, I could see those being molded and casted at some point. Those things are
By him,
massive.
yeah. Making all
I'll
kinds
be
of
honest. That dude collects so much vintage shit. I have no
Yeah.
idea what is what when he
I
shares.
love it.
Sometimes those recently he had those like 3 feet banks that look almost like a tiki pole, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
I mean, like I said, I'm a collector first. I've been a collector my whole life.
So what
And
would probably be like one of your like the most memorable figures from your childhood then?
Kenner Swamp Thing line.
Yeah,
That's my
fair.
favorite. That's my favorite vintage toy outside of like Star Wars because I'm a big Star Wars guy. But that Kenner Swamp Thing line, and it was only, the show ran for what 6 episodes or something.
Mm.
And
Dr. Arcane is bad though.
I love those figures. So that's probably my favorite line. Like I like the Robin Hood ones too, but I've never even seen the movie. I just love those figures.
Mm. So you said you got Heavy Metal Hanukkah coming up. What is your? Do you know you do know your night already? Correct.
13th is my night.
December 13th.
I got
Nice.
one piece. I didn't make 5 like I did for scraps. I felt weird about scraps because the whole concept of the show was what I do. And so I was like, am I messaged Angry Beast and I was like, can I do this show? Like, I don't have like miscasts. I don't have scraps. Everything is scraps to me.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, go for it. Like, absolutely. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. But for Heavy Metal Hanukkah, I didn't do 5 pieces. I just made one metal ass piece. I like it very much, but I am going to sell it.
Nice. Is it finished already?
It's finished. Yeah, I've had it done for like a week and a half.
Nice. Head of the
Yeah,
game.
man. So, admittedly, you're saying you didn't do 5, but let's be honest. You might end up having like a wave of 5. You might end up all of a sudden sitting there being like, I need to make another figure. Ideas might come to you.
That's not completely false because when I was only going to make 2 for scraps, and then I just kept making them, and I was like, this is a good way to put out 5 new pieces that are all doing, because that was what I did for scraps, because it was already in my comfort zone. So I said, let me do things with these that I don't normally do. Uh, let me do extra for these. Um, that was where I first did a piece that was completely whitewashed and then ink washed over it. And I've been doing that a lot now because I really like how that first scraps piece came out. Uh, yeah, I made the really tall, like static one, and like I did the thing where I was dremeling out holes inside the torso of a figure and actually putting a head inside the torso, um, for the face stealer.
I'm
So I
not
was
gonna lie,
trying to
that's
do different
take over.
techniques with it, since it was something I was already, the whole concept of it was something I was already comfortable doing. So I wanted to do at least something outside of my zone a little bit. And that kind of that show opened a lot of doors for me in my head, at least, as far as like what I could make. Because I feel like I was creatively, I felt like I was on a bit of an upswing up to that point. But when I did that show, um, everything that I've made since then, I've really felt like I've been putting a lot more into it.
Mm.
I think that's definitely something artists have said about shows before as well, man. Is that it kind of like pushes them out of their comfort zone and also pushes them to kind of um, up their game, right? Because you're with a bunch of other makers. And
Yeah.
admittedly, I'm pulling this up now. Like, I'm glad you pointed out they actually buried the heads in the body too, because I probably would have missed those amongst all the other things going on, man. Like even on
So
the shoulders and sorry.
yeah, like his knee pads are faces from figures. His shoulder pads are faces from a figure. He has a Fisto face on top of his head. Um, that is actually cut off of a Fisto figure. The
Ah, nice.
torso, I dremeled a hole into it and jammed that face inside of it, and then the effect of it like bursting out, all that effect around the face is actually all the scraps and bits that come out when you dremel it, glued back on the outside of the hole to make it look like it's
Oh
bursting out.
my
So I
frig,
saved all
man.
those stupid little pieces of plastic that I dremeled out of the torso of that figure so that I could use it for that effect. And the same thing on the back.
Mm.
There's an Obi-Wan head on the back. That's a Power of the
And
Force Obi-Wan head.
how did you make the shoulder pads with the out of the faces like that, dude?
So
Bro.
it was a Storm Collectibles Ryu figure from their Street Fighter line, and it had interchangeable faces. So it was already
Okay.
a curved piece, and I just carved the pegs out of the inside so I could sit it right on the shoulder.
Damn.
Like if I see a piece, like, or a piece of a figure or a scrap of figure that has a shape that I know I can use, like I'll kind of log it in my head, like this has that curve, it'll sit on a shoulder, or like this could be, you know, this could be on top of someone's head. Like I'll just kind of like try and remember all those little facts about tiny bits of plastic.
Mm.
But like
Nice.
the leather and the chain and stuff like that really adds to the I feel like to the quality of it.
Yeah.
I like those finishing touches. I think that's my favorite part of doing them is
Like embellishments.
those last
Yeah.
embellishments. They're the coolest to me. I got some sheets of um what's it called? Like PVC vinyl from Amazon. So I'm starting to do uh some capes in uh like in a clear.
Oh, nice. That's
Oh,
nice and thick too, man. I can tell.
yeah, and I was worried it wouldn't be, but this came out pretty cool. This one's gonna go in the store later as well.
Nice.
And that's a head from, it's an arcane head, but it was cast by, I want to say, Grandma Tarkin.
Hmm.
Okay, that's a maker I've never heard of. Grandma Tarkin.
It's mostly just customized Star Wars figures, but they were selling some heads. I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
Hmm. From beginning to end, from when you sit down and you say, "Hey, I'm going to make a figure," how long do you think that process is taking you right now?
Um, it varies, but on average, it's probably about 2 days if I want to wait for like all the paint stuff to properly dry. I do photograph most of them
Wow.
before the paint is even dry on them, though, because I'm so eager to get it documented. Like
Yeah.
I'll go out in the garage and I'll spray paint it, and I'm just like carefully carrying it back in and putting it down, and the spray paint is still wet, and I'm taking pictures of it. So I'm like, this thing is so cool now. Because the spray
When
paint is
did
always the last thing.
yeah. When do you know when you're making a figure and you're adding stuff? When do you know enough is enough? You know what I mean? Because I think you can get to a point where it's overdone. I'm not saying that you have pieces that are like that, but I'm just saying if you're continually doing that, do you ever get to a point where you're like, all right, this is enough. This it is what it is. I'm moving on to the next one.
I mean, I absolutely have pieces that I feel are overdone. And I have pieces that I feel are completely underdone that people like loved.
Mm,
But I mean, I just kind of like I take a step back from it. And a lot of times if I'm not sure if it's too much or if I should add more, then I'll put it to the side and I'll come back and I'll look at it the next day.
mm.
And
Fresh set of eyes on it. Yeah.
I'll give myself a new set of eyes on it and be like, okay, I need to stop looking at this thing for a minute because I don't want to overwork it. And it was the same way when I was doing music. Like I had a tendency to overproduce things. Um, and I would just like go work on something else. Just take my ears or my eyes off of it and just come back to it later without the bias that I currently have towards it
Yeah.
or any feelings that I have towards it. But then like the underdone pieces, like I don't know, I did that thing with the legs coming out of the computer.
Mm.
Have
Yeah.
you seen
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Everybody loved that when I posted it, and I made it
That was
as a
great.
joke. I made it as like a stupid joke in like 20 minutes.
That was
Like
great, dude. That was a I mean, that to me, that's one of those pieces you look at and you're just like, I mean, yeah, dude, come
everyone
on.
like I had this plastic computer and I had actually the torso from those legs
Yeah.
is the upper half of the guy with four arms from Scraps.
Oh wow.
Because this was like a Scraps adjacent piece, and I had some lightning effect, and I glued it onto the side, and then I hit it with spray paint, and it's very very simple, but everybody really liked that, and I it's it's very very weird to me sometimes like which pieces people gravitate towards, because like something like this that I literally made in like half an hour like gets like a lot of like publicity for lack of a better word. And then there are some that like I spend like hours and days on that like people, gets likes, people like it, but it's like it doesn't, nobody buys it. It's just there. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
but go
it's
listen to the
weird.
top 40s and tell me how much of it sounds like crazy prog metal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no.
Rainbow Young's comment right there said this is brilliant. And I think that's one of those pieces, dude, where you look at it and instantly almost everybody can identify that with that and say, yeah, that's true. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I think
that's a
I
good
think
one, man.
I think it was like just this like goofy like social commentary in my head that I think ended up being more deep than I thought it was.
It's
Um,
great, dude.
Thanks.
That's a good one. And now, did that one sell?
Yeah, that one sold.
Yeah.
When I put that on the site like that, that one sold really quickly. Like that one sold like as fast as the oracles, and the oracles were also something that was a very quick thing. Um,
Now, when they sell that quick, are you ever tempted to go, man, let me make a couple more? I know you did that with the oracles, but like with the computer one, do you ever think, man, maybe I'll make a couple more?
it's
Because you know they're
hard.
gonna sell.
Yeah, it's hard. Like the computer thing, like I don't even know where that computer part came from. I think I found it at like a thrift store or something in like just a bin of you know
Yeah.
crap. Like, I go to a lot of thrift stores, I go to a lot of antique stores, and I try to look for like junk lots on eBay because like I
Yeah.
will take pieces and scraps from everything I can. Um, so I don't know that I could find that computer or anything similar to it again.
A phone would work too. You know
A
what I mean?
phone would work, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. I mean, yeah,
Mm.
I do revisit ideas if I have the parts and the ability to do so, especially if I know it's something that people will like. And it's not so much so because I know I could sell this. Um, that's a factor, but it's more so like I someone else can have one. They're all one offs.
Yeah.
So like you know, like I sold that Vader piece, that Dark Lord 2. I sold it to an artist who he actually messaged me on Instagram, and he's like a real a painter selling like $1,000 paintings in England, and he
Yeah.
somehow found my toys and wanted to buy that figure and was asking how much I charge for shipping, and like I completely undercharge for shipping for international. Like but I don't care because he's got it on his shelf.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like this dude's
Sure.
got my work, and that's worth more to me than the $10 that I lost on shipping.
That makes sense. That makes sense, man.
So,
Mm.
yeah.
Ocular Rhombus, man, we are coming up to about an hour that we've had you in here, and you know what's coming up. Is there anything that we can squeeze out of you before you dip out of here, aka I kick you out of here?
Watch the shop in the next couple of days because I got a few new pieces coming out, and just keep checking back because I don't do drops. I just make something and I put it up because since they're all one of a kind. But yeah, just keep liking as long as people keep liking what I'm doing, I'm gonna keep doing it because I really enjoy doing it. And honestly, even if they don't, I'm still gonna do it.
I would
Well,
hope
and
so,
shoot,
man.
man. Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, your account's still growing, you know what I mean, from when I first started following you to where we are now, man. I mean, and I think it's just like it's the same thing for any of us. It's a really slow burn, but it's still going in the right direction, man.
I think so.
Super glad to see your work, dude. It's really killer stuff, man. I know for me, just trying to make stuff here and there, dude, I see, kit bashing is hard, dude. You know what I mean? It's hard to like pick something to make it look good. And for whatever reason, dude, you are just doing it like on point every couple days. That's amazing to me, dude. I've had one piece on my workbench for like a month, dude. And it's just so stupid. I just go back to it. I'm just like, how do people make so much of this? You're just pumping them out left and right, dude. It's crazy.
The hardest thing for me though is like seeing everyone else and what everyone else makes, and like so many people are casting and doing work that I feel maybe it isn't, but I feel is more involved. I have a lot of imposter syndrome about being in this scene. Even with my small following, it's like I have 1,000 followers, something like that. Like I still feel like I don't necessarily fit with everything that everybody else is doing. I have a hard time. I feel very accepted by everyone, which is awesome. But I have a hard time in my own head seeing pieces by, by General Porpoise, by Bobadrock, by anybody, and putting my thing next to that and saying that it's worthy of being there. That's hard for me. But like no one else has ever made me feel that way. That's just in my head. So.
Interesting.
Modesty and humility are good, but you do have to have confidence in what you make, man, because you've put time and effort into that. And at the end of the day, you have an eye for toys. You've got a shelf behind you there. You collect. I think it's okay, and I would say that to anybody, it's okay to like be like, damn, that's dope that my toy is beside so and so's in B to the J's collection, and that actually like, okay, like maybe I'm not so bad. Just shut that voice up in your head a little bit and take the wins, man.
All right, yeah. It's just
right.
Sorry, that was me coming at you with tickle fingers. Sorry if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So more pieces in the shop tonight, correct?
Yeah, I got three I'm gonna put up tonight. I already got them loaded. I just gotta make them visible. They're not
Perfect.
on Instagram yet, but I'm gonna put them. I'll put them in the store first, and then I'll catch up with Instagram later. Because worst case scenario is you post something that's already sold out. I still want to post it.
Nice. New pieces in the shop tonight. Heavy Metal Hanukkah coming up.
Hanukkah
December 13th is your slot.
Yep, and then Assembly Required is my first show.
Nice. I will be there. I will see you there, my friend. Yes.
Assembly Required. First in-person show you're going to?
First in-person show. I worked in comic conventions for a while. So it's my first in-person show as a vendor.
Nice.
Selling my wares.
Nice. That'll be fun, man. That's a fun show.
I was gonna do one in 2020. I even had a banner made, but then it got canceled because of 2020. But you know what? I'm way more prepared for it now than I would have been then. So I'm kind of grateful for that.
Nice.
So
I like the way you're thinking, man.
Be a long 13-hour drive to North Carolina, but
I was gonna ask what the worst part, like what you're dreading the most about going, but I guess that answers it right there.
Yeah, probably the drive.
It'd be a cool drive. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it.
Ocular Rhombus, man, before I hit that button, for Uncle Spank's sake, he wanted me to let you know, you've got a lovely mustache, man. And so
Thank
coming
you.
from Uncle Spank, that means something. He's got a great stash too.
Thank you.
Have a good night, man. I don't know why I blew him a kiss. Maybe it's because we're mustache brothers. I'm just like, right,
Mustache Brothers.
mustache. And just,
Mustache Brothers. Man,
mustache
dude.
bros. Hey, wait, before we get to, okay, actually, a couple things. Because I'm trying to be polite. Whenever we have a guest and something like that, I know you guys have noticed it. When we have a guest, I usually try and be a little bit polite, but like, I'm like a can of worms over here, and there's shit on your shelf I haven't seen. What's that thing that looks kind of like the red guy on the shelf right behind you? This shoulder, not the big giant pillar that's clearly an 8-bit mic, but like that would be almost there. Yeah, what is that? What the heck is that thing? That
This?
red thing there. Yeah, what is that?
This is the Celestratron that I posted today, actually, from Ordinary Toys. This is one of the first ones that he did, and he did a couple experiments with this one. The legs were his first attempt at a double pour, which actually came out pretty cool when you see it in the UV. But what's really cool about this one is you can't see it on here, but there's UV highlights on the insides of these tentacles. So when the UV hits them, they really light up. But the
Dude,
video, yeah,
those shoulders and the arms. Oh.
yeah, sick, man. And then the cape too. But really sick, man. That, like I said, that's one of the earlier Celestratrons. But I did a reel on that today. And you can check it out. It actually came out pretty good. Ocular Rhombus, though, man, what a freaking machine, dude. And just like he said, somebody said in there, Retrozone Neon. Yeah, right on, dude. So know your worth, Ocular. You are a goat. And I agree, man. When it comes to kit bashing and stuff like that, I agree. But I think he brought up a really good point of not feeling accepted, because when you look at some of the stuff at the different ends of the spectrum from what we do and what we carry, you know what I mean? This, right, which we'll talk about in a minute, is
Feels
not the same.
accepted. Feels
Yeah,
accepted. Doesn't feel. And a lot of the artists deal with that. Am I a toy? Am I
yeah,
art? And
yeah.
they're like, oh crud.
That's right. He did say
Am I
he
doing
felt
the
accepted,
same?
but yeah, is he doing the same thing? And that, like, like I said, brings up a better question. Is this, something like this? That's not the same as like a Lab 9 piece, but it's still under the same umbrella of what we do. So he's is absolutely right, man. They're not the same things, but they're awesome in their own way, I think. There's different levels of involvement on all of them. You're still creating something. But what he's doing, dude, the consistency and how often he's doing it. He said 2 days and he's usually on it. Now that's like from kit bash, from selecting, right? Then to kit bashing and then to painting, especially with the materials. Dude, those outside materials add so much to the piece, man. Really, really cool.
Even the little tiny rhinestones on some of the capes where they would fold over and they're attached. I did notice that.
He had a giveaway piece. I totally forgot about that too. He actually did mention that.
I
So
know
I don't know
that
how.
made it ever. If you
I don't
felt
know.
like coming on back in, I can open up the door and then, if you want, I have been putting names in a wheel. I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do.
But that was really cool, man. I'm stoked to see him in Heavy Metal Hanukkah. That'll be cool. I'm sure he's done with his piece already, dude. Holy smokes.
Think back to when we first got into this, man. There were a lot of shows happening, and especially like AR, Clutter Magazine, we were doing their shows and stuff like that. Like there's always been a lot of toy shows happening. But I love that probably like in that first like year, a lot of our homies would be kind of like, dang, I want to be in a show, I want to be in a show, I want to be in a show. And now, like, look how many of the dudes are like either throwing their own show. Titty Bean threw a show this year. Plague Dirt is throwing a
Yeah,
show. Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? The amount of dudes that are just now like, are folks, human beings that are just throwing some shows now, and like, and then the amount of people that are getting involved in them, man. Like even Von
yeah,
Quickly shows he's been in the scene for a couple months. Like I love it.
yeah. There was another smaller show that's going on. That Dookie's in. What show is that?
Hey, Dookie's going to be in it or was in?
Is in it?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
I'm stoked to hear that Dookie's in a show, man.
yeah. And he might even have it on his page. But I did see the flyer for it, and he was in it. There was quite a few. Well, I don't want to say quite a few. Lab Monkey's in it. There is fuck, I can't remember the name of it. Somebody hit me up with that name if you know. Ocular said he's gonna send it in the mail. Perfect, dude. We'll give that away. But right on, Ernie, dude. I super appreciate you coming on, man. What a killer workspace, dude. Those are always fun to look at, dude. I always feel like an ass when people come on and they have those really killer backgrounds and you just end up like, oh, what's back there? Dude, you spotted some swampy stuff back there like right away. I saw that. And then the piece that you bring up, I'm like, oh, look at this guy with the black and white. Like, we don't know what's going on, bro. Come on. That was
It's
funny.
a sexy piece. Come on.
It is a really killer piece, dude. I love that figure when it's in its original form. There's something about the helmet and the way that it comes down into the shoulders on that one that's very bulky. I kind of like that. I don't know. It's a really cool piece, man. The double guns. You know what's funny, dude, is I have a piece like that from him. It's got a different head, but it's got that same kind of cape on it. And it's got double knives. And I really love that double knife look, dude. That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, so while we're on the topic of ocular rhombus, because you know my brain is like, it's basically like bird seed to birds today. That's basically how my brain is operating. Just so while we're on the topic of ocular rhombus, and ocular rhombus, please feel free to chime in if you'd like. Did you want to spin the wheel for that?
Oh, well, next week. He said he's going to send it to me, and then we can give it away next week. So we'll do it. We'll do it
Your
next
brain
week.
is working. My brain
Yeah.
no worky.
Oh
Got some
man, that's all right.
unboxings?
Yeah. I do actually. They're already kind of unboxed, but we'll take a look at them anyways. The first one I just showed. This was this Zemitco, this owl. I mean, this thing is. I bought this because I've been looking for some pieces to put outside of the toy room. And this is one of them, man. So this is actually outside of the room. But dude, it's just
That's a fucking
it's
slab.
it is, dude. It's massive. I mean, it's solid, and it's got to be, that's an inch thick for sure. But the clarity on the back, I always am blown away by, everybody out there who's doing the super, super clear stuff. That's really cool. But great look, man. Nice looking piece, nice and glossy, really good feel to it. Like you said, weighty. It's not going anywhere. The other one that I got, I don't know why I got this one. I just thought it was cool. I really like the pour on it. It's this kind of purple and pink fade. This is Piggy and Ape Get Married. And it's, I don't know if you can't really see. Yeah, see, that's the problem.
That's a
with the
beautiful
freaking...
pour on that one, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
really
the way
cool.
that freaking like bluey purple is sitting right on the frills of her dress at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, on the grass and his hat.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. There's actually another one in there that has a really good feel to it when you look at it. And it's just like this, but it's like browns and oranges. And there's something very the decoration style for me, what I kind of relate that to is like kind of late 70s, early 80s country, dude. My dad's family is from Jackson County, Oregon, and it was just country as hell, man. And for whatever reason, those colors connect me back to there for some reason. And the fact that it's kind of a piece like this. My grandma had these little porcelain pieces like this all over, as old folk tend to do. Anyways, really cool.
Is that I can't tell if it's maybe just the lighting in the camera, but is there almost like a light yellowy orange in the back of her head and the side of his cheek?
Yellowy orange. I don't see that. I don't
Right
see
about,
that.
okay. It might just be like refracted. Yeah, right up near the top of her head there. There's some kind of beautiful marbling happening
Right
there. It's
here?
cool.
Yeah, there is. It does get kind of orangey back in there, and it does bleed
Oh.
over into his. This is the back of the head there. But you're right. It's kind of orangey red. I dig that darker purple that's coming out right in the ear there too. That's really cool. Sick.
Simon, man, your work is so tight, dude. And those stupid fucking little white teeth. I don't know how or why, but like,
Yeah,
it's killer, man.
really cool. So Zimico, that was those. Oh, the other thing that Zimico sent, like a true gentleman, we will show it again because I did show it last week real quick. The giveaway that he sent, that was awesome. Also, tons of stickers. So these will be going out with giveaways for the next 20 years probably. So there's plenty of stickers in there. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. That always helps for fillers. The other thing that we showed these last week, but we're showing again. This was a giveaway from Zimit. This will be going out in a few weeks. We'll do a wheel for that one. And then also this was the other one. The three-headed ape there. That one is, I freaking love that one. But we will be giving this one away as well. Translucent in there. In a few weeks, we'll do that one. If this one doesn't get lost.
The wide stance on that almost reminds me of something we'd see Feigned Base do.
Yeah.
Got that weird,
Yeah,
like, cyclopean alien, you know?
Yeah.
I like that, man.
Nice wide feet too, man. I mean, always nice and balanced. But dude, the paint detail on there, look how tiny that is, dude. And it's just freaking flawless.
The little tongues, dude. Like the teeth
Yeah.
are nice, but those little fucking, like, man.
Dude, I mean, you look at the teeth in the middle. I mean, those are literally little speck dots, like dip, dip. I don't know, man. To do that many of them and not mess up, that's crazy. That's crazy.
When he did that video, because I don't know, I'm a human. The brain just is what it is. When we always see them, you know they're painted. You know he has to do that. But there's something about literally seeing him in that one video he was doing where he was just like,
yeah,
you're like, oh, you're hand painting every tooth on every piece. Yeah.
every tooth.
And then gluing every rhinestone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And they're tiny, man. They are tiny for sure. Porpoise is out, right on. Couple
What else
other
you got over there? What other kind of magical things?
couple other shares. We got this C3PG from Pamro. Bam. This I'm going to open this up because it's got some really, really hard glow on it.
Yeah, please open it up because I need to know what's going on in that fucking belly top section. If it's a sticky, what's going on there? What's going on? I need to know.
Oh man, you know how sometimes it's got its magnetic articulation in the super clean too. These are nice. You know how you can see it just kind of soaking up the
It's
UV.
heating up. Yeah, I can see it charging.
Yeah. But it's cool, man. It's what I really like about it. It's gray, and it has that really cool glow to it, which is something I don't see very often. But
is it
really nice paintwork on the gears or on the wires on the inside? That's nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm at. Okay, what is going on with what's happening inside there? Is that a paint app? Is that a sticky? Wait, please.
That's a paint app on there. Yeah, actually, you can tell that's painted black, and then it's got the red and white, and it looks like a little bit of green, I think, wires in there, or maybe blue. But yeah, that's all paint, dude. No sticker on that one.
Sharp.
Yeah,
well done, man.
Nice looking magnets
resin
too.
casted, right?
Like
that's not a 3D print or anything, right? It's because of the gray. It's throwing off my brain. Sorry, and I'm like,
exactly, dude, and that's why I kind of paused there for a second. Yeah. Well,
smart piece.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that and how it glows. I don't know if there's a well, I don't know. I don't know, but it's super clean, man. I mean, the magnet work on it is really nice.
The magnet work is what makes me wonder if it's casted. Because it's not often you'd see somebody print and then try and drill into it something that was hollow like that, right? So that's where I'm like, no, that looks like a cast. And he normally casts, so it would be weird for him to
C3PG. Boom. Stickies. Pamro. Boom. There's those. Camera. And then I got one more. You want to do it now?
No, I want to look at some tabs real quick, so we gotta make these guys wait a little bit. And are we doing a giveaway at all tonight, man? I don't know. We don't have to.
We could. Yeah, we could. Why not?
You think on it. I mean, I'll pull up the share screen and pull up some tabs and stuff, and boom. Also, I do need to make sure I touch on this real fast because I mean we're gonna pull up tabs anyways for accounts. We were talking about Celestial Res this evening. 86 followers. This is the Chewbacca that we were talking about earlier.
That's the one I have. Yeah, that's crazy.
And then what's crazy is there's one sitting in here for 25, deep purple magnetic buff with plenty of sexy appeal. Sex appeal. Yeah, he does have sex appeal. Yeah, 25 bucks is chilling in here.
That's that buff Chewy. Um,
Yeah. Mexican bootleg Chewy.
yeah, man, dude, I want to say he had more posts than that, but he's still around though. I know he's still around, but he usually works off of his personal account, but it still
Right.
pops up in my feed every now and then.
I think we
Um,
discussed that even when we had them on, that like they don't really touch that account anymore.
yeah,
I think they go by a different account name, and we're just noobs and don't know anything about toys, so we're not. It's not clicking.
yeah, it could be, man. I don't know what it is, but he was making quite a few things for a minute. Deep
Hey, I know
Pruitt,
we've checked
good
out this
one.
person before. Yeah, because I was gonna say, if we're gonna look at accounts with under 1,000, man, I think we first got our eyes on this when they did the porpoise figure, and I think this might be another example of where sometimes because of the amount of like the where technology is at, it makes it hard sometimes to know what we're looking at. Like these are figures. Like
Yeah,
I can't believe this
yeah,
maker is sitting here with so few followers, man.
that recent one right there, the red and blue is the most recent one I saw. Actually, the one right before that.
Yeah,
That guy, yeah, yeah, 2 days, 3 days ago.
it's like, damn, man. And again, only 282. And Pocket
Yeah.
Salsa ended up tagging us in this, and I just thought it was dope. Thanks, man. He was listening to the old
Mm.
Ocular Office be interviewed on our show tonight and was making this guy up. And
Oh,
he's somebody
nice.
that's been doing a lot of different things lately as well, man. Like all these guys. This piece actually makes me, I like it.
Oh yeah, red velvet cardback, dude. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it just is a sick piece, man.
Yeah,
Pocket Salsa. Moon Forest Toys. Yo, okay, another example of where you find an account and you're like, why are you sitting at 342? And like they've got this whole set, like, those are dope, man.
yeah,
Red Spook.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know how long they've been around for. I don't know if you can go back to their first post and see how long that was.
Well, it's been a while, man, and I keep on seeing them do these where they're working with resin and woods and like they're making a lot of stuff. Like they're posting all the time, man.
Yeah, it's weird, man. As far as like the engagement and the amount of followers that people have based on how long they've been here. Sometimes it just doesn't add up to me, dude. There's no really rhyme or reason for it. I don't know. Is the best way I can explain it is that there is no explanation for it.
Yeah. Like you
You
said,
know?
man, no rhyme or reason. Okay,
Yeah.
because like I remember actually this was probably the first time we pulled them up on our page was when they had those little cubes for the corners. Yeah,
Yeah.
the drippies,
Yeah.
little melts.
Yeah, dude, great, dude. I mean, those are, I could see those
Ah,
being on anything that has a fucking corner on it, right? I mean, those are,
they're just fun.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he has an Etsy shop, dude. That's something you don't see very much. Is an Etsy shop. That's
Well,
one I don't see a
in
whole
the
lot.
UK,
Ah, that's true. Yeah, you know what? Titty Bean
but
was an
even
Etsy shop,
still,
wasn't it? Yeah,
26, 26, bu- 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 35,
and that's
26.
Canadian, and that's
In
Canadian.
Canadian, yeah,
Yeah,
2681, 2681, 1788. Like I get that the UK shipping is a little bit higher, but like when you're pricing like that, like damn,
well, yeah,
dude.
it's 1788. That's that. I mean, in the
12,
dollar, that's.
13
I was gonna
American.
say that's close to 10 now. Yeah, for sure.
Stormico Station coming out hard, man. I know we've been kind of talking about it a little bit in the last couple of weeks how this guy's going to be making some toys. And when I saw that this post was up today, I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to obviously fucking share it then because he's got a bunch of little mini Tokios. He's got some toilets. I believe these might be pickle turds. I'm not entirely sure, but they look like
Hmm.
pickle turds.
Hmm.
Stormico Station, let me know if these are pickles or
I
turds
like that
or
dino up
both.
there. What's that dino up there?
These guys,
Yeah,
I think it's a
it's
little
like a
tiny
little Godzilla.
Godzilla kaiju.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Nice, cool. I
and
like it with
just
the
little
building set. That's
Tokios.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, Stormico Station. Viral Vile. Dude, I know that
Dylan
like
Clement.
we've talked about this artist before when they did their paint app on the bootleg Toyco one.
Yeah.
but I guess they're sculpting and casting.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I like that. I saw that the other day.
Right? Like, damn.
Face
All
Off.
file.
Yeah, good name too. Face Off.
And even this little guy, it's like, homie, these are cool little sculpts, man. And I don't mean
Mm.
like that in like a bad way. Like I'm not saying like little. Like I'm saying it's like no, like these are like they're clever, man. Like that's a smart sculpt, in my opinion. I don't know. Looks almost like one of those little spook village sets that they used to be able to find, where it'd be almost like a Christmas village, but for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sleepy today? I just want to
No,
come
no,
over
no.
and get
I
a
was
big old
actually
tickle.
I was looking at RetroZone Neon's comment, and he says IG is a cruel mistress that it can be very hard to get new eyeballs for small accounts,
Yeah.
which is true, man. And I think that's probably a lot of people's frustration sometimes is that, I know one thing that doesn't grow your account is not being involved. And so it's hard when you are involved and you still don't see that growth or the growth
Yeah.
that that you think that new eyes, and that it goes to another conversation. We can have this conversation later on. Is myself and myself and Vomit and Porpoise, Brett were talking earlier, and we were talking about, like, I think the big elephant in the room, dude, as far as sales go and stuff like this, is how do we as a scene get people who are not in the scene, who are not artists, to buy stuff. I think that, it sounds really shitty when it says, oh, it's just a bunch of artists passing the same money around. Like, yeah, it's shitty to hear that, bro, but there's a lot of truth to that, man. You know what I mean? Like, there really is. And it's like, you can do a run of 3 or 4 and then everybody in this room is going to buy one and you're like, oh shit, I sold out. Yeah, but I mean, how many of those people came in from the outside? And I think the big conundrum is how to get people involved, or to even see this as an art form like we do. And then we brought up the word toy, dude. And me, in my opinion, when you say the word toy, instantly it cheapens it for people, and they think of toys that little kids play with. And then you have the divide of, well, yeah, that's kind of what they're supposed to be, and then you're like, well, fuck no, they're not supposed to be that. Like, is this, like, would you give that to that Healy May? Would you give that to a little kid? Absolutely not. You wouldn't. You'd put
Hey,
it up
found
and
new Healy mate?
it is. I will show those here in a minute. But it's definitely a conversation to have, man, because um I think it really keys on certain words and how they make you feel. You know what I mean? If I tell somebody, they say, "What are you into?" and I say, "Oh, an independent art scene." Oh, okay. What's that? What's independent art? Start talking about what it is, and then you show them a picture, and they go, "I had this reaction today. Oh, toys." All of a sudden it's not serious anymore. You know what I mean? And then you find yourself trying to, like, back up and justify, well, it's this, and the process is this, and it's a one-off, and it's a small run, it's people around the it's people around the world, and you can't get it in Walmart, and it's very exclusive. And I hate doing that, dude. I hate having to make excuses for it. I don't know if there's a way around it. I think we're just kind of wading our way through it. And I don't think that's something that someone who has been in the scene for a long time necessarily needs to say, man. I think it's very obvious to see what's going on. And it's just, and that could also go back to it just being a very slow burn, right? Like, maybe it's getting there. Accounts are growing. I don't think anybody is losing followers like on a regular basis. It's growing. It's just slow. But it's weird, man, how we say different things and how we look at these things. And how it kind of makes you perceive it as something legitimate in a way. It's tough. It's tough. I don't even make anything. And so I can't imagine trying to make something like that you've put your heart and soul into, that's actually art. And then for someone to just look at it and go, oh, that dude makes toys, that's a toy. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I guess that's open to interpretation, right? So I don't know. It's I don't know. It's just, I think there's a lot of different perspectives on it. But it's important. I think it's important for the future of what everybody's doing here. And, like you said, how do you bring in that outside money, man? People like to sell stuff. I know that everybody likes to do this. And as much as they say, oh, I do this if I wasn't making any money. It's like, yeah, but if you're not making any money, where do you draw the line as far as your expenses go? And if costs keep going up, then you're paying more for a hobby that you like to do. And for some people, that's cool. That's, maybe that's what they want to do. But as far as selling stuff and saying, hey, I want to be able to sell toys and do this as a side hustle and, make extra money on it. Um, I think a lot of people right now are just kind of relying on the people that are in this community and saying, well, I know other makers really like this stuff and they know the process. That's the other thing, dude, is, the artists are the ones who know the process. The artists are the ones who are going to justify that price tag. If you put it up there, if you put a 3.75 up there for 70 to 75 bucks, 60 bucks, even, the artists in the community are going to know why that is. And it's going to be much easier for them to justify, like, yeah, I'll buy that because I know what's involved in that. You take somebody from the outside who's buying a piece based on nostalgia, or, yeah, I liked that cartoon when I was a kid. Oh, that figure is 50, 60, 70 bucks. Fuck no, I'm not buying that shit. And then we're back to explaining, well, it's made like this, and it takes a lot of time. And it's like, okay, well, am I paying for your time or am I paying for the piece? Artists, I
Well, and
think,
I
will pay for
think,
the time.
yeah, if I'm being 1000% honest, man, I think in this particular scene, one, like, let's just be open and honest. Anytime you're buying art, it has nothing to do with it being a fucking toy, dude. Art is it's a luxury good. It is not a need, right? When the economy is crap and
Mhm.
money is low, like it's a want. It's not a need. So like right off the hop, it's kind of just like, well, no, unfortunately, people are buying less wants right now, and they're focusing a little bit more on needs right now. So that's always
Yeah.
tough. Um, I would also say that like when people make, and this is where it gets tough, right? Because as much as you're actually saying, oh, it cheapens it to call it a toy, what I find actually cheapens it is when somebody argues with me that it's art. It's allowed to fall apart. The paint app's allowed to be fucking garbage. It's
Mm.
allowed to fucking not stand. It's art. It's a handcrafted art piece. Yeah, you're damn right it is. And you know what? You have some peers in this scene who are some fantastic craftsmen. And when they make a piece that is supposed to be representational of a toy, it performs like so. The issue is that if you talk to almost anybody in this scene, they've got a box of what they would consider almost like fucking embarrassments, man. Pieces that they don't keep on their shelves anymore. They don't like to look at. They feel angry when they look at those pieces. But it's art, and art is subjective, so they're never allowed to say anything about it. But it makes them more apprehensive about the next pieces that they buy. And I've had conversations with individuals before where it's kind of like, hey, you know what I mean? If you're taking a McDonald's figure and the whole art is just the backer and you're putting it on that, and you think your customer knows, there should be no harm in saying in the description what it is, but they don't. In my opinion, that also cheapens it. I'm somebody
Yeah.
that has bought a straight up Care Bear before that was in a backer. The backer is the art. You know how stupid you feel when you just spent 60 USD on that? Add in the shipping? But I should have known what it was. And let's be real, man. We have a pretty good eye for what we're looking at typically. I shouldn't have to try and guess what the hell I'm buying, man. And so when people become scared to buy things, that's when you start seeing people buy things like the pop shops, the Healy maids,
Mm.
they go for those things they know will be a win. And they're not willing to try and actually sacrifice or maybe make an attempt because every purchase, every dollar matters. And they don't want to
Yeah.
feel like an idiot. They don't want to be burned. They want to see their money go to a purchase they can be happy to have on their shelf. I think that's one of the toughest parts. And none of us want to have that conversation when we talk about the fact that it's art. And you and I have even talked that we've got bubbly pieces. What do we consider being a defect or a good quality of poor quality? Because we have pieces that we love that some people might consider of poor quality or a poor cast, but we love them. But the reality is, and I say it time and time again, you need to get what you saw. Anytime somebody doesn't get what they saw, it's been taken of a photograph poorly or anything like that. That's damaging to the scene. And the issue that I sometimes have is that I have butted heads with some makers sometimes before, where I feel that they have absolutely misled people or have completely deceived people, and we butt heads on it. And the issue is that I say, you know what? You have no idea how this will affect the scene. That's why what you're doing bugs me, man. because I have seen other people be burned from stupid behavior like that. I have talked to
Yeah.
other people who have your pieces in a box that they're embarrassed about. You know what I mean? There's a box that went to Dollar Slice years ago with Maker's pieces that unfortunately I did not have the taste to have on my shelf anymore. And what's hilarious is he'll have the nerve to sit there and be like, "You're right, this thing is a piece of fucking garbage, should have never left their shop, blah, 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 blah." Shares in the story going, "Crumbs, thanks for the toys." And these makers literally reshare it going, "Dollar Slice has my toy." And you're thinking to yourself,
And I think that's the good and evil of the whole thing, man, is that when other artists are buying other artists' stuff, they're that much more critical, and they have a right to be because they're artists and they know, what's going on. The outside buyer, myself, for example, I see that and I figure that you can think a lot of things in it. For me, most of the time, I don't think, man, that's a real half-ass job. Sometimes I do, because it's obvious, right? And other times I'm thinking, it could be the material, it could be where they're at, it could be their access to materials. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the mystique of it. Sometimes, sometimes it looks janky like that.
and that's why you should just get what you saw.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. And
it.
that, right, right. And like I said, man, that's a tough part about, artists selling to other artists is it's that much more critical, man.
But
Um,
it's no, I would actually argue because again, man, what's tough is when I first got into this scene, I was trying to figure out what the heck I was looking at because I didn't know if I should be completely disappointed, but I was disappointed. And I felt like at times I felt like a bit of an idiot. And nobody likes feeling stupid, man. Right? Nobody likes feeling stupid. That's like, well, if you do, you're a masochist, I guess, but like most of us don't enjoy feeling stupid. So I would
yeah,
say that like personally, um, okay, a dude the other day, this is a little first-hand example, right? I know this guy for maybe 20 minutes, and I'm like, hey man, I got this vibe about you. You're gonna dig this. So I'm part of this indie art community, and a lot of these guys actually kind of make like resin action figures and stuff. And right away, he looks at me, he goes, "Oh, that's a sick resin pour. Is that nugs in the head?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, my girlfriend has like earrings and stuff like." And it's like, yeah, you guys understand what resin art is. Like,
yeah.
again, man, like I don't.
And 99% of it, good stuff. Good stuff. I
100%.
and
And
it's
wait, how do you or I even decide what's good or bad? Because even that used to drive me nuts. When
well,
somebody's
I
like, "Well,
know the
Crumbs, you know
piece
what
that
a
you're
good piece
talking
is?" And you're
about.
like,
I know the
I
piece
don't
that
know
you're
what's good.
I know the piece that you're talking about though. And to some people, for whatever reason, bro, I mean, for whatever reason, some people like that. Some people like that. You and I don't like that. You know what I mean? But some people like it. I don't know why. Some people now, bro, you got to admit, right? So I don't know that piece that you're talking about. That was obviously in a runner. There was more than one of those, right? Somebody
Of
else got one of those.
of
You
which I'm
would
so
think
sorry.
of the
Care Bear?
no, the Gamorrean Guard,
Oh, that.
right? But what I'm saying is that there was more than one of those made, right? For sure there was. So somebody else got that same thing.
Oh yeah.
Now, what was their reaction on it? Were they as pissed off as you were? Who fucking knows? Maybe they thought that was
They
the
loved it.
greatest
They
thing.
loved it. They loved
100%.
it. And okay, and I that is part of the issue. He just said it. All art is subjective,
It
and
is.
that's where it becomes tough. Is you're
Yeah.
trying to say how do we get people who know nothing about this art form to throw their money at it when it's
Right.
subjective as all fuck, and
Right.
they're
And like
not
you said, dude,
sure what is good or
it's a
bad, and you and I can't decide what's good or bad. No, none of
right.
us can.
And like you said, it's a crapshoot. Like nobody's going home and taking pops out of the box and playing with them. Just as like no one's really going home and playing with these.
Well,
Now, as much as people want to say, well, it's a toy, like motherfucker, you can't tell me there's a bunch of grown-ass men sitting in their living rooms going playing with their
no.
fucking toys, bro. It doesn't
And that's
it
where, if
doesn't fucking
anything, when we
work
talk
like
about
that.
paint apps, in my opinion, I try and remind you guys all the time, grab a factory toy the odd time. The odd time that you're looking at a paint app on your piece and you think it's crappy, go grab a commercial toy and look at it because they're crappier. I promise you, your homies are doing a better paint app than most of the commercial toys you buy.
100%. But what I'm saying is like it's the same thing, right? Like they have the same purpose. They're set up there because it reminds you of something. You're kind of buying it for the same intent. As a consumer alone, you're buying it because it reminds you of something or you like it. It's a figure. You put it up there and you fucking leave it. So, and like you said, with something like that, with a pop or something like that, it's a guaranteed fucking, you know what I mean? I think there's a higher chance because, like you said, you're going into the known. You know what you're getting, man. With an indie toy, you don't know, and I think, it's hard to introduce the rest of the world to these to say, well, give it a chance. Give it a chance because here's why.
But
And I don't know. I think the
slowly
best
but
thing that we
surely,
can
it's
do
one
is,
at a time.
yeah,
Like I
slowly
meet
but
people,
surely.
and then I find out they've bought pieces from the scene. I'm sure you've met people in real life, and you find out they end up buying pieces from the scene. Eh.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna
It's
have to pull Healy Made in and Sucklord, and actually, you know what? Dove Keltner's coming in at the start of January. We'll ask him for all the answers of how you sell art.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and that's another. I don't know if you had a tab for that or not, but I think DKE is getting ready to do something. There were some pieces that came out, but yeah, man, and that's and I think DKE is an example of, and I don't know if he has those statistics or not of how many non-artists are buying this stuff, you know?
The issue is, and we've talked about this ages ago. I don't think the issue is getting more people to buy this stuff who aren't artists. The issue is convincing collectors it's not fun. It ain't fun casting resin. Because that's the main issue. Every damn collector eventually wants to fucking make something.
Yeah. Uh, you're right, dude. Once you see kind of what's being done, and then the more of it you have, and the longer you're around it, you're like, well, I think I could do that. Let me see what I could do, you know. Um, but it's, like I said, man, I think it's the big elephant in the room where everybody just kind of knows it's sitting back there, where it's kind of a fringe thing, and we can all sit here and fucking play dumb and be like, oh, well, I have no idea why my stuff is selling, because it's a niche thing. That's fucking why. It's a niche thing. It really is. And there's so few and far people that make a 100% living on this thing. I love the aspiration, and I fucking hope that people get there, bro. I really do. I hope you and I can make money off this show someday, and I hope Smooth On hits us up and be like, hey, a lot of our fucking, audience uses Smooth On. That'd be great if we could fucking pay you to do a Smooth On commercial. That'll
No,
never
we can do better
happen.
than Smooth On. We need we'll both get eccentric mustaches. We'll get mustache wax brands. We'll start wearing T-shirts that for Pornhub shirts.
Hey, there you go. But
How
it's
are
tough,
we
man.
not
It's
rocking
just,
Pornhub hoodies every damn episode?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, freaking what's that silicone? The big giant silicone dildo one there, the Bad Dragon. We could totally just
Oh,
have a row of Bad Dragons behind us somewhere. There's a lot of places that could definitely sponsor us, man.
Retro Zone Neon. I would love to see you guys interview Sucklord. Me too. I've actually talked to Sucklord. He's agreed to be on the show. It's just a matter of timing and getting him in here. So that'll be a fun interview once we finally do that. Probably looking at first part of next year, but just because we're pretty booked right now. But anyways, man, there's so much more to it, dude, that we could just go on and on about. But I do think it's important because until somebody really, and there is no right answer, man. I don't think there really is a right answer. I think, I know what the answer not is. I know the answer is not to stop making and give up. We'd have to keep fucking knocking on that door until it opens. Sometimes it's open for some people already, and some guys that have been around longer, but for everybody else that's hoping and aspiring that it opens for them someday, how many pieces did those guys have to make for that to happen? Probably a lot.
Different
Probably a lot
time
has to
too.
go right. The
A different
time,
time.
a different time. Yeah, current events is I think is big. A lot of the pieces that I think are really successful, that really take off, are based on current events. When current events are bad and kind of shitty, I think that kind of reflects in the art to some degree. Not only buying patterns, but also the kind of content that's coming out. I think movies have a lot to do with that. What's relevant right now as far as Star Wars and kind of the stuff that everybody's into. That stuff seems to hit a wider audience. I'm looking at some of the stuff in my collection room right now, and I'm just seeing how many other people are into an Oni Beast. How many other people are into a green plastic tunnels piece? It's limited, man. It really is. I hope the audience grows, but I think it's limited at this point, and we just got to keep grinding away at it, man, and keep pushing forward. Um, anyways, that's that, man.
I just took such a long pee. Hey, we have a couple more tabs to look at. Do you want to do a giveaway or tabs?
Um, yeah, you said tabs. Let's go. Sorry, I was reading the chat, anyways.
I want to pull up Drew Mazur's account here, the old Plague Earth production, because he's got some meaty radioactive boys that are going to be dropping actually on Monday, 3 p.m. Central, but also he's going to be hosting that heavy metal Hanukkah, which, as you can see here, starting as of the 7th of December, right on to the 14th, each day stacked up a little bit. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see some more joining in on that.
Nice, dude. What a great lineup, man. There's some really killer days in there. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, Pockets
Yeah.
also Barry Boba, Hell Radical Toys, Fair 7, Pendragon, Kilo Flow, Pamro Toys, Odd Space Lab, Sycamore, Baba Drock, Elixir Toys, False Animal Toys, Bootleg Toyco, Pleasure Trash, Samico, Angry Beast, Pharaoh Foundry, Fat Dad, ooh, Pharaoh Foundry, what's up? Fat Dad
Yeah.
Fun, Rhombus, what up? Tygless Tacos, Death and Strawberries, Other Sphincter, Swarm Co, Yakima, Epoxy Crusaders, Steven Casino, ooh, Dark Rainbow Toys, nice, Radis, Kachina Kachina, sorry, Resin Blood, Barbarian Rage, Plug Production, Creature Maker Toys. Hey. Yeah, okay. For a second, I was like, "Whoa, I'm not blocked by Creature Maker Toys anymore," but I guess I still am because then unfortunately it also blocks the toy account. Sorry, man. There's accounts we can't see.
Does it really?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, because they can basically block me and accounts that I have created. So that unfortunately, I think because my account is linked to the Toys Alive account, I think the individuals who are like, "I don't like this guy," we can't see their shit from the Toys Alive account either.
That's a bummer, man. I
Zyzo.
like Creature Maker. I have quite a few of their pieces. Anyways.
Yeah, sorry, man. It was
No,
literally
all good.
like
Oh, these are
first
cool. I haven't seen these
first
yet.
month. Boom.
Wow.
This is gonna be dropping on Friday.
Flower Power. Cool. I have not I missed those. Hmm. Talk about a machine
Oh
making
yeah.
pieces, right?
I don't know why the guy decided to stay on our show. He was gonna try and do a drop every Friday at 2, but he really shot himself in the foot. Well, maybe not. He makes a lot of shit. I think he mentioned earlier he's got like something like 1,800 pieces in the shop, maybe a little closer to like 1,850. Legion Toys. I want to show this off because, in my opinion, it's one of like the funniest things I've seen in the scene for the last little bit. Because this thing, I love it for its disgustingness and everything that it is. Taken for a moment, this is a like Chewbacca from Mexico bootlegged to a Swamp Thing that he had done in a 3.75 at one point. That was in 3D rendered, then made into a soft vinyl, and then painted up in a friggin' PSK colorway. And we all know the PSK is quite the history of a bootleg as well. So this thing is literally like if the bootleg scene shat its pants and then was about to puke, and the only place to puke was in its pants full of shat in the most lovely way possible. This is what it's all about, folks. But yeah, Legion Toys now has these big giant Safubis. See? Brad Raider, Battle Baby, is doing a drop coming up. When is it? Next week? I believe he actually gave a date, though. Am I crazy? Well, he's going to have a drop coming up this next week, and I would imagine if you keep your eyes on his page, you will keep seeing little teasers for things to come. Strafe 7 still has 2 out of the 8 left for this guy here. I don't know if anybody needs to scoop up one of those bad boys, but get on that if you want one of those. Well, I don't know. Healy May doing a little drop coming up for Black Friday. If it'll reload. I thought he had a time for this one. Available now. Well, there you go.
Oh yeah, that was actually he did the rare Thursday morning drop on that guy. That was at 9 o'clock this morning my time.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Drea Zay is up to a whole bunch of different things. Got this great horned devil toad, but also he's working on some new cape wing designs.
Nice. Oh, I like those.
That goes.
Yeah, very cool.
And of course, we're gonna be talking about shows. A GI show, which we famously rocked last year. It was so good that we're gonna do it again this year. because we're probably the two biggest Joe fans the world has ever seen or known.
Bro, I'm telling you what, this is going to be fun, dude. I'm telling you, me and Hurt were talking about it earlier. It's going to be fun. I love the way it's going already. Austin and I talked about it, and I'm like, bro, I feel like we kind of owe you one. But he said it would be funny. You know, we both kind of agreed it would kind of be funny to kind of
Lean into
highlight
the
the fact
sex.
that we, you know, totally screwed the pooch last year. And I love what he says right here, right away. He says, live followed by a visit with the boys from Toys Alive. What could possibly go wrong? But he was direct with some directions on there of kind of how he wants the tone and the feel of the show to be this year, which I thought was very cool. He did really highlight the fact that he wants to get other figures in there besides you know, the 3 or 4 that were shown repeatedly last year. Not saying those pieces weren't good, because I think they were very good. But he wants to keep politics out of it, and he wants to kind of, I think he said, dude, there's over 500 GI Joe characters. So to not try to, you know, branch out, I think would be a travesty. But that'll be fun, dude. Like I said, if you'd heard, we're talking about it earlier, and that'll be a fun night, dude. That'll be a fun night. I promise you. That'll be a good one. It's not till May, I believe, right? May 16th. We're a ways out.
Damn. A little ways out, but it's creeping up. You know what's a little bit sooner though? Designer Con, December 1st, happening on DKE Toys. Everything going online. Sales begin. So they've
Oh,
already
we're gonna have to
started
talk to
their
old Jimmy Folklore about that new Broids figure there. I did not see that.
the old Jimmy Yep. Yeah, man.
Nice. Okay.
Always good seeing some of the homies popping up on the feed.
L. Frazier.
I find like I don't know how Robot Chicken Burger Disco operates. Sorry, I don't know why I said it that way.
Mhm.
The dude seems to always be making things, but I don't really like. I don't know like. And now advert time. I don't necessarily know.
Yeah, lots of advertisement stuff with him. I know he does all the stuff for Toys on Tap. I mean, I'm sure he does, you know, way more than that, but he's very, very skilled at it. I know that. They've been, gosh, dude, I remember those things for been going back forever, man. Hmm.
Yeah, he makes stuff. Like he does make
Yeah,
pieces. We just don't see them as often.
yeah.
Alrighty, and I've got Yuck Trading Co. up because Yuck Trading Co. In my opinion, they're always dropping some cool shit. Clear boy heads do in fact fit on Captain Y torsos. If you guys haven't been to this gentleman's store, the pricing on his work is absolutely stupid, and I think we've actually talked about this a couple of times. Shop.
Mm. Folklore also says his new card has silver foil that glows in the dark. That's sick. Nice choice.
Going all out on it. That's all I got for tabs, man. What you got over there?
Nice. So we'll take a look at the last couple Healy pieces. This is the recent Shaman that came out. The kind of fall colors there. Look at that pour. That's freaking wild, man. So this is, let me see. So the only paint that's on this is right here on the belt. And then just in the face. Besides that, that's all resin in there. Static, of course. 3.75. Sick, man. This came out a couple weeks ago, but really cool colors. These are all individually cast pieces and then put together. And then he just kind of swaps them all up. So I think, you know, obviously it's the same character, but everybody who got one of these, they're going to look a little bit different, which is cool. Really, really cool. The last one I got is not the latest, because there was just an SWWF figure that was dropped today. This is the one that came out, I want to say about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, something like that. This is a redo of the original, but still one of the dopest ones, man. That hammerhead, really, really cool. 3.75 static, and again, we talk about this all the time, but it's got that kind of porcelain resin feel to it, which is just, you know, it's different.
That color sits really nice on that.
It really does, man. And you know, for the price point, $70, you know, that's honestly at the higher end of a 3.75, but then you get it, and you know, you kind of see really quick why It has that price tag on it because it's worth every penny. The paint on those is super, super crisp, man, all the way around. But probably one of my favorite lines going right now, the SWWF figures. He's redoing all the old ones. I think there's only a few left in those ones that need to come out. But he is making newer ones. The one that came out today was a completely new guy. So that was cool. Do we want to give something else away? I don't know if do you have names on the wheel? Maybe I shouldn't run my mouth before I say that. You do have the wheel going?
Oh, I always get the wheel going, and I know we always have a pile of
Okay.
giveaways, but I never know what the hell the plan is. I just show up.
Yeah, well,
You know
you
this.
know, I've been kind of spreading them out a little bit. And I knew that
I get it, man.
yeah, the Ocular had the one for tonight, but let's do another one, man. How about this? I showed this a couple weeks ago. And there was a couple of them, but how about this? We'll do this carded headman from Plastic Vomit. The the card back was done by, damn it, ba, 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 ba. Eh,
That's not Cantina Customs, right?
yes, thank
Beauty.
you. Yes, Cantina Customs. So yeah, I was gonna say we'll do a choice, but no, we're just gonna do this one. We have another one, but
Doing the headband.
yeah, this is the one that we'll do tonight. So Cantina Customs on the card and Plastic Vomit making that. It is you could probably take the bubble off. I don't know if I do it. It does not open on its own, but it looks super, super clean. If you have any Plastic Vomit stuff, you know that is true. Good luck to everybody. Quite a few people on there. You were on mute there, Crumsy. I don't know if you were trying to talk or not.
Oh,
But
sorry, my bad, man. I'm just looking over the
yeah.
names. Yeah. Pocket Salsa, Zumico, Grayskull Toys, Vomiting Droids, Porpoise, Von Fake Name, Death of Strawberries. I don't know if this face blue wide eyes is actually a human or if somebody typed that and I accidentally copied and pasted it. Daniel Antil, Suki, Bootleg Toyko, Worst Villain Ever, Uncle Spank, Folklorian, Yakamuk, Slightly Adrift, Bureau of Print, Lynn Rat Boy, Jazz Wizard, Face Up Toys, Carolina Cool Cat, Sadat H, Brie Kurth, Baby Bod, Recycle Galaxy, Mr. Orne, Rushers on Neon, Sand Prep Battle Shack, Barrio Boba. If you did not hear your name called and you are actually here in the room, oh, frick. Stormical Station, I am so sorry, man. Let me make sure I do have you. Because, yeah, I do famously forget you like every freaking time for some reason, even though I know you. Yep, I forgot you. Sorry, homie. It's not that I forget you. I think it's because I'm already thinking of you that I don't think to make sure you're on there. Because that's got to be it. And I'm going to do a quick little double check if I've got anybody on here twice. Because I thought maybe Jazz was on there twice, but I don't think so. Burial Boba Yet, you're the last one that I ended up catching on there. Thanks for chiming in there, Retrozone Neon Man. And also, he mentioned he's still got some of his draft pieces sitting in that store there. I know that Retrozone Neon typically has some pretty good pricing on their pieces, so even take a look at their store, see what's going on in there. That's where you got your Reptar from. Worst Villain Ever is on there. Facade Supply. Boat Making. Macaducky, my apologies, dude. I did see you come in and laughing. Alrighty, what else we got on here? And nobody else is chiming in. So with that, I'm going to give the spin of the wheel here. I did hear B say Dylan Clement at one point popping in. Make sure I got that.
Did you get Wisconsin Custom Craft?
I did not. I am
That's
so
right.
sorry.
Daniel Antil.
Daniel Antil. Who actually sent us a bunch of stuff as well that we need to get out into the universe. I'm sorry about that, dude. Boom. Boom.
Perfect. Where's he at?
Daniel Antil?
Yeah.
Canadian boy. I think he's out in BC.
Nice. All right. I told you, dude, we're on a Canadian streak. I'll have to
I'm
see.
sorry,
I
dude.
can't
I
remember who won
know.
last week. No, I'm just saying that it's there's a lot of Canadians that I don't know if I think there's just a lot of Canadians that watch the show in general, which is cool. Man, I know Toronto's a super big scene, but um,
It's
yeah,
always a
cool,
pain in
man.
the ass, though. Let's be real. Like, because international ends up being almost 40 every time. Like,
For me, it's low 20s. It's low 20s, which is fine. You know, the biggest pain in the ass for me is at the post office how exponentially longer it takes for them to do this. Now, when I just mailed some packages a few days ago, they've changed the system again, right? And this poor kid, he's probably, I don't know, man. This kid's still wet behind the ears, dude. He's a young kid. I remember the first time I went in there a few weeks ago, I was mailing a package to Lynn's the Rat Boy, I think, in Australia. And the dude saw the address that it was going to, and he's like, oh no. He had never done it before. Now they've changed that system. And I'm there the other day, and I've told you stories of my local post office before. The closest one to me, it's horrendous, dude. But the line gets so long, and you can just feel people staring through you as you're in the line, and you're just kind of like, what do you want me to do, man? International packages, what can I say? Old men getting all pissed off. I'm aging as I'm standing here. I'm like,
uh,
technically, sir, yes, you are.
feels that way some days, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure we had Ocular Rhombus come in.
Hmm.
We did some unboxings. We showed some accounts. Are we wrapped up at 2 hours and 30 minutes?
I think we are, Ed. We'll get you next time, bro. I didn't see you come in, man. One thing, so everybody check out Bootleg Overdose tomorrow night, midnight Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific. Dark Rainbow going to be on there tomorrow night.
Oh, that'll be
That's
a
with
good one.
Plagued Earth, Resin Blood, Scott Cherry Barbarian Rage, and Dark Rainbow, man. What a lineup. That's a great squad in the house. People sitting around making stuff. If you haven't got a chance to check that show out, do it. That goes back to what we were saying earlier, man. How do we spread the word, dude? I think the more content, the better. You know what I mean? It's every show's different, dude. No one's
I
doing the
tell
same.
two friends, you tell two friends, they tell two friends. That's how we gotta do it.
Yeah, I feel you, Eddie. It's one of those things, dude. Pirate ship, yeah, dude. Barrio Boba,
But
good call, man.
for USD homies,
Yeah,
Canada,
that's
we don't
true.
have the option. I don't
That's
know
not a
about the
thing.
UK or anything, but Canada, we don't have the option, unfortunately.
Yeah, Porpoise is also a big fan of pirate ship. I remember. So anyways, yeah, dude, fun show tonight. Next week, what do we got? Next week we got Brulio toys next week. Yeah? Yeah, Brulio,
That'll
young
be a
guy.
good one, man. Yeah, he was saying 22.
Young
Big
guy.
influences being, not influence, my apologies. What's that word? Mentors, perhaps? Being
Yeah,
killer in the old DSB.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. It's gonna be that'll be fun, man. It's always interesting to get the younger crowd's perspective on kind of where it's going. The other thing that I didn't even mention, dude, was when we were talking about Resident, this could be a whole nother show, and I know there's reasons for it, and I know people know the reasons for it, but why the vinyl community doesn't experience the same stuff that we do. Maybe they do, and we just don't know about it. But it seems like that community is just um, and it's been going for years. You know what I mean? It's just it's a different thing, and they don't use the word toy as far as I know. You know, vinyl, safubi, nah, I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
maybe, I guess maybe there's a show called TOYZ Alive. We should have maybe really thought that through before we wanted to get into it, eh?
And you know what, dude? And this is what I usually tell people is that when you say toy, that at least gets you in the right ballpark. You know what I mean? Like you can really kind of narrow it down from there. But at least when they see that, you go, okay, at least I kind of know what you're talking about now when you say, independent, fill in the blank. That's what we're talking about.
And we do it all again next week's homie.
Folklore got something from Brulio. Sweet.
OcularRhombus, my dude, thank you very, 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 very much again. You're a treat and a gem. Live chat. Thank you for showing up and being you guys. Be my dude.
That
And
was nice of you.
we'll chat again soon, I'm sure.